Sup, everyone, and the ice. uh, Thanks for hanging out with us. We are going to be streaming, as you can see, from IGN. Because there's no E3, IGN and a couple other media moguls or outlets or whatever you want to call it are doing their own version of E3. Uh, One of them is, like I said, IGN Summer of Gaming. And we decided instead of watching and then writing down, I mean, we're still going to write stuff, but we wanted to kind of record what was happening and get our insight or our, thoughts on it. Um, I'm Kenny, by the way, if you haven't noticed. I'm like in every stream we do. And with me is Jamie, who's mostly in every other stream we do as well. Um, so we got 30 seconds before they start. It's going to be gameplay reveals, game reveals themselves, uh, a lot of information. The Sony stuff is not going to be until tomorrow, I believe, the 11th. That's when they're actually showing that off. So we won't see that here, but we're going to see a lot of games being shown off today. So we wanted to kind of chat as we're doing it. I also wanted to say a shout out to IGN for doing this because instead of going to like 9 different places to try to find all these different video feeds and whatnot, we can do it from one spot, which is it definitely helps us out. Uh, Even though there's others, like I said, there's a Brazil one showcase. Sony's doing their own showcase. I'm pretty sure Microsoft's going to do another one. So there's going to be more, but for a lot of the third party stuff, we get to go to one spot. So shout out to IGN for doing this. And yeah, let me turn up the volume so you can hear. Well, actually, do you need to hear these guys? You don't need to hear these guys yet. Turn it up just a little bit.
To acknowledge the unprecedented difficult times we're
Oh yeah,
facing
we're
as a
listening
They're
to
talking
this.
about a little bit.
Between the
Yeah.
COVID-19 pandemic that has claimed over 400,000 lives and changed our lifestyles,
and the unrest of a society fed up with police brutality and systemic racism toward black people.
The country and the world are hurting. We at IGN have been promoting health and safety tips
as well as charity drives to help people through the coronavirus since the stay-at-home orders were initiated.
Hopefully it's
Across
not
our
too
Summer of
loud.
Gaming event specifically, we'll be fundraising for the World Health Organization.
We've also been vocal about our support of Black Lives Matter.
Since protests erupted across the US
due to the heartbreaking death of George Floyd,
under the knee of a Minneapolis police officer now charged with murder.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives
Matter.
In an effort to make sure that our actions speak louder than our words.
We've been focused on driving donations to the NAACP legal.
I can hear you breathing, bro.
Across Summer of Gaming, we'll also be fundraising for the Bail Project.
We hope you'll join us in an effort to promote change, both for our health as well as our society. And thank you for watching.
Shout out to IGN for that as well.
Yeah, that was cool.
Using their platform for good. I like that. I like that.
Summer is here. It's the time to get up close with the biggest games headed our way, along with first looks at what next-gen consoles have to offer. And if you want non-stop coverage, IGN is the place to be.
And UFG, just throwing that out there.
Summer of Gaming, a multi-day streaming event
Kinda.
jam-packed with huge reveals, jaw-dropping new trailers, exclusive gameplay footage, and our first looks at what next-gen holds for the future of gaming. Today, we're checking out never-before-seen demos of highly anticipated titles. We'll be facing a stampede of evil mutant velociraptors in second.
That Turok-looking game looks pretty cool.
Into madness in
Yeah,
the
it
punishing
does.
nightmare hellscape, exclusive gameplay reveal of Mortal Shell. As well
I
as
so want
dropping
Mortal Shell
exclusive
to be
announcements and brand new
multiplayer.
trailers you won't find anywhere else.
Whoa.
Sit back, relax. The very first IGN Expo.
You know, I'm like, I want to say I'm 99% positive that we'll probably see. I'm not sure exactly what they're covering right now because I'm not sure if they had like a schedule for today. We'll probably see a new trailer for Cyberpunk, right?
Maybe. It's a possibility. I wonder what this is.
Final Fantasy Remake 2.
I super doubt that.
No, it is not. It's definitely not. Unless Cloud got taller and got a beard.
Is this a werewolf game? Because I'm down for that. I super don't understand what's going on though. Like, time is frozen.
No clue.
Yeah, and there's monsters.
Some big claws. That probably hurt. That's in fact, a werewolf. Those wolves really trying to mess with that werewolf? Oh, okay.
Werewolf the Apocalypse, July 7th. More at Nancon Connect.
Wait, July?
You just watched
3
the
days
trailer
ago?
for Werewolf the Apocalypse.
No,
Earthblood,
3 days ago was
which is
June.
wishlist on Epic Game Store. Go check
Oh,
it out and
my
stay tuned
God.
to updates by following
My
Werewolf
bad.
Apocalypse on social media or joining the
I have the
official
helmet.
Earthblood Discord.
Welcome
nice.
to IGN Expo #1, our own summer of
Yeah, that
gaming
was-
showcase packed with exclusive trailers,
Let me let them
brand new
talk about it
gameplay,
first.
developer interviews, and a whole lot of other buzzwords I think I already said in that sizzle reel at the top. I'm Max Scoville, and I'm here with Sydney Goodman and Brian Altano. And apologies if you don't like our faces, because you are going to be seeing a lot of them, and also we can't do anything about them.
But what we can do about those faces, and with those faces, is use them to tell you that this is just the first of 4 epic IGN Expos that we have planned, so make sure to check back for regular updates on the latest in gaming. You can watch us wherever you stream IGN, or live on your TVs by tuning in to IGN 1 on your Samsung TV Plus.
Additionally, all summer of gaming long, IGN is asking you to give to the World Health Organization and the BAIL Project. The COVID-19 Response Fund is dedicated to studying, tracking, and combating the coronavirus pandemic. The BAIL Project is a nonprofit that pays bail for people in need, reuniting families and restoring the perception of innocence.
And by donating, you'll have a chance to win codes for games like Resident Evil 3 and swag from companies like Bethesda. Be sure to click the donation links in the description of your video player, or go to donate.ign.com for more information on how and where to donate. Keep those donations coming.
For even more Summer of Gaming goodness, download the TikTok app, follow IGN, and check out the Summer of Gaming hashtag on Twitter, where you can watch along with live events, submit your own Summer of Gaming moments, reactions, and plays.
And now, let's get this thing rolling with what you're all here for, some world premiere video game trailers.
World premiere.
Looks like they're gonna be pretty packed.
Yeah.
You ever wonder how it all ends?
How long is this supposed to be? Did it have a time frame?
They did, and I forgot.
Oh, sounds good.
I mean, I could definitely look it up on my phone, but it's I think it's gonna be mostly all day, but not all of it is the actual expo. Like, kind of like Nintendo does their direct, and then they have a treehouse event.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Let me see.
That looks kind of similar to Doom. Is it? I wonder if that's the trailer, or if it's like, because it sounds like the gunshots are syncing with the music.
Yeah, they could have applied the music on top first. I mean, second.
Yeah.
Metal Hellsinger.
That looks very
very Doomish.
Doom-like. Yes. No, 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 no. That's what I heard the whole time.
Oh, this looks cute.
I'm
It's
really
gotta,
interested.
It's gotta come to the Switch. You can't have a cute platformer and not come to the Switch. That's the rule.
That's definitely Xbox One S. Alex Kidd? Really?
Nice.
That might be a purchase.
Oh yeah, that's a purchase. That's just yeah.
Yeah, I don't even need to see the rest of it. Sold.
Oh, they have a retro mode. That reminds me of what was the game that came out? The crap, the dragon game.
I can't
It's
remember.
little. Daggone it, but it was good, and it was like that. So yeah.
That was a cool little trailer, though. Wow, that's a change of pace.
It is.
Here, watch this before we melt your eyes with a dude hanging by his feet with blood on his face.
Gotta keep it real out in the streets, man.
That's Chivalry? That's Chivalry.
It looks like it. Oof.
They dead. That wasn't smart, because now he doesn't have a sword and he had a shield. Why you didn't throw your sword? Oh.
Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap. That's what I was trying to say. Couldn't freaking remember. That has nothing to do with this, but just saying.
Did you see when the... Oh my god.
Chivalry II. Yep. Yep.
Is Chivalry 1 that brutal? Because that looks fun. The guy caught a pitchfork to the face.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
Did you see the other guy got that rock crushing his head? It looked like that movie. Have you ever seen Hot Fuzz?
Yeah. That's a good. I have that actually. Hot Fuzz.
It's a great movie.
It is.
It looks like when the dude had the statue fall on his head. It looked like that.
The moment we finally blend our worlds.
If you're squeamish, do not look up that scene.
They're not exactly people. They're gods.
I think I know which game this is. Maybe.
It looks like EverQuest a little bit. The character
design?
The design and they look really soft or like clay almost in certain aspects. Oh no, this is oh, this is that I think this is that strategy game. Yeah, Waylanders. Yeah.
It looks interesting.
It's party
Coming to
based.
Steam Early Access, June 16th.
Hey
That's next
Sydney,
week.
do you hate dinosaurs?
Wait, I think I
Go
know
on,
what
shoot
that
him
is.
in the
No,
face
no,
with
no,
a
it's not.
bazooka
Different art
'cause
style.
camping's
Never mind.
extinct, and also you don't own a bazooka? Well, great news, because in Second Extinction, dinos are back and you can shoot them in the face with a bazooka to your heart's content in this co-op action first-person shooter by Systemic Reaction. My friend Max sat down with one of the game's developers to find out more. Did he find out if they kiss? No, but I will.
Brian, you're so weird.
Okay, so they didn't have a time on the website, but judging from the reveals and stuff,
great.
There's not a ton more in terms of new stuff.
Well,
I think.
Bad news, everybody. Mutant dinosaurs have overtaken the Earth, and it's
Hold
up
on.
to you and two friends to take them on in Second Extinction. Here to tell them about this new game where you shoot a whole lot of dinosaurs is lead producer Brindley Gibson. Brindley, welcome.
Hi, Max. Great to be here.
So, Second Extinction is a three-player cooperative shooter where there are just a really
Why just
absurd amount of
3-player?
dinosaurs
Come
to
on,
roam around.
folks.
You guys unveiled this on the most recent sort of Microsoft Series X.
You're gonna find out who your real friends are.
And it's kind of showing
The
off
one that gets left out. You know, you're not part of the group.
Everyone is extremely
Destiny
excited
screwed
about
everyone else.
next gen.
Screwed
Can
everyone
you
up,
talk a
man.
little bit about some of the bells and whistles that this game is showing off on the new hardware?
Well, we're not really announcing every single detail of sort of the features we're supporting for the next gen at the moment, but obviously it gives us a lot of power, and our ultimate aim is to ensure a great silky smooth SPS experience and get more carnage onto the screen. And see, our heritage from the Avalanche Studios group is these kind of games with crazy things going on, and that's essentially what it allows us to do, just push that and get more of that action onto the screen for players.
Now, I had to get that out of the way. Everyone always wants to talk about next gen, and this time of the.
I would have
the
liked to
console
see a
generation. But
trailer
let's talk about the
first
game.
before they
this is a
went
game
straight
where
into
mutant
like this.
dinosaurs have taken
They
over the
showed
Earth,
a
and
trailer.
humans have to sort of fight to survive.
I think it was,
can you give us a little sort of
last
rundown
year
of,
at the I think it's the Game
how
Awards. I
humanity
think.
wound up in this horrible situation?
Yeah, but that was last year.
Well,
I need to
when
be
we
refreshed.
join the story, we don't really know exactly what happened.
Wow, did that
time has
dinosaur
moved on
just turn
since the
into like
actual
mist
extinction event
with
occurred,
that shotgun?
and some of humanity has escaped to the stars. It really came out of nowhere. These dinosaurs
Looks like it.
erupted out of the ground. It looks like they've been burrowing, and it was a pretty short battle. They overwhelmed humanity, and that's where we join the story now. Is humans are starting to get together, and they want to come back to Earth from their orbital space platform and find out, you know, who are these enemies? What do they do? Are there other survivors out there? And as we sort of move through the game, because it's going to be a live product, as we sort of grow it, we're going to be adding to that story and revealing more about the dinosaurs, how they came to be, because it's a pretty unreal concept, obviously.
Why does it say
I'm very
pre-beta
into it.
footage
It's
and
an
not
unreal
alpha
concept, but
footage?
it's one that I think most people can get on board with. We've got some of
Maybe
the
it's
sort of
right
these
after
kind of like
alpha?
velociraptors. We had some of them that were hurling
Just not
some
quite
sort of
beta
acid.
yet.
There were ones with what looked like kind of invisibility camouflage. Can you speak a little bit about the sort of different enemy variety we're going to see?
For sure. I mean, we have this idea of sort of base types of enemies, and they're different species, and then there's sort of mutations that come upon that. So our base raptor here, we wanted him to be recognizably a raptor. But as you get close to them, you sort of see there's something off about them. You know, the eyes aren't quite right. There's too many teeth. So that's the kind of like your basic mutant, and they're a kind of horde type enemy. But then there's other sort of spin-offs of the raptors you mentioned, yeah, like the electric raptor, which I guess we took a very loose science approach. They're not fantasy, they're not magical. So we were looking at kind of crazy things in the animal kingdom. And like, yeah, okay, there's kind of animals that can do camouflage.
There's no
animals that can
T-Rexes.
deliver
I don't know if I
electric
want it.
shocks, and we use those as jumping off points to make our mutants. And then we do have bigger dinosaurs as well, kind of acting as our like specials. Yeah, we've got a T-Rex. I mean, we have
there you
got a
go.
T-Rex in this kind of game, but obviously bigger
Acting
and
as
badder than
specials.
your traditional T-Rex that you would see. on screen.
So kind of like the tank
No,
from
you're taking some
Left 4
liberties
Dead.
with the sort of the science
what it
side of
seems
things,
like.
which is completely okay because video games are
So they
supposed to be
probably got
fun.
like their version of
Is there any chance
spitters
we're
and
gonna
stuff
see,
like that too.
you know, traditionally more
Yeah.
you know, more gentle herbivore dinosaurs reimagined as killing machines that we get to
That looks
take
like a
on, or is it just going to be
big
carnivores that
minigun.
were, pumping full of lead?
No, it's all types of dinosaurs, and we're going to be building up that roster of enemies as time goes on. Once we launch the game, we've got some really cool plans. Obviously, dinosaurs as a starting point, they're pretty awesome as it is, and then you're mutating them, and you can go pretty wild. And we have had to sort of rein ourselves back in and go, wow, you know, for later we can go that. That's going too far straight away. There's a lot we can do with it, and
There's so many things they can do with
I have
this
to say, these
concept,
are
though.
evil mutant dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
Even the herbivores are mean. I mean, that was a challenge. Like, how do you make them not cute? How do you make them look really nasty? And yeah, the art team have done, and the animation team, I should say, have done an incredible job of
What
going,
dinosaur is
taking
cute?
something you know we all know and love and think, oh, they're so cute, to make you think, no, that's not cute. That's really not nice.
Maybe
I don't
the
wanna come
you know the
across that.
herbivores.
Yeah, so herbivores and
Still wouldn't call them
carnivores,
cute.
they're all
Spitter,
dangerous in
spitter.
Extinction.
Yeah, there it
I love
goes.
it. I would love to continue talking about the dinosaurs, but we should probably also address the humans. Is this class based? Is everyone kind of?
I was
kitting
just
out
about to
their own
ask that.
character
Class
with,
based,
you know,
yeah.
different loadouts. Can you speak a bit about how that comes together?
Sure. So we've got at the start of the game, we've got these 4 heroes, and they are an international cast, sort of from around the world. We wanted to get across that this was an international conflict. The whole world has gone down. So we have
I
these
love the
different characters.
explosions.
Now they
It
sit
looks
within
good.
different classes, but each character has their own unique abilities as well. So there's sort of class aspects of certain weapons that they can use, class abilities, but then each character will bring its own special
Capcom needs to make
ability
another
to a
Lost
fight,
World. That's what this
and
reminds me
those
of.
classes, are pretty standard fare in regard of there's a support class, there's a kind of generalist weapons class, and then there's a heavy type
Capcom
class as
has
well.
nothing announced at the moment.
But where the real fun is obviously the abilities. That's where we get to layer on something very special into the characters, and also tell a bit more about their character because there's not a lot of storytelling, as in traditional sense, cutscenes, that kind of thing. So we wanted to get across what these people are
Can
like,
you aim
and
down
the
sights or
abilities
no?
that they do,
Yeah,
and
they
I
did it
suppose the
earlier.
VO lines that they trigger as well. Now you do get to load out the characters
Okay.
as well, so it's not all
I
preset.
mean, if you had
So
that
you
much of
get
a
to
hard
choose the
time hitting them,
weapons,
why didn't you aim down
the
sights?
the kit that you take in, which includes grenades, but also payloads.
Wait, are they
Because we're up
taking
in
those
space, a
payloads?
lot of
Is that
stuff
what they're
actually
doing?
comes down. You'll see that in the video here. Things being
I
shot up
get.
into space and things being sent back down again. And the
Oh, okay.
payloads can be
They go
anything
into
from a
this
resupply
space,
to a
and then they'll
massive
come
airstrike.
back down
Okay.
So
eventually.
you, as your team, you want to choose what's the stuff that we bring in
Oh, okay.
to the
You can
game
you can
Okay.
to help
ask
us
for stuff to
spread,
come
so you
down
can sort
to
of work
like I guess
together,
help you.
cooperate to deal with the dinosaur threat. And
Now, can we speak a
there
little
is
bit
an
about
element
the?
of sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You were telling us.
I was just going to say there's an element of upgrading the weapons in the game as well. So each weapon has its own upgrade tree, and that's something you can sort of unlock as you go on and you research. And then those upgrades allow you to either specialize your weapon or make it more general. We've aimed at making, rather than adding power constantly, we're trying to go for breadth. But it's anything from sort of more exotic things like fire ammunition to a buff to reloading. And we let players sort of reconfigure the weapon. Once they've unlocked the things, they can change and adapt the weapons and try different things out for different types of missions.
Yeah, calling
Right
a
on.
supply
Can you
drop
speak
right
a little
there.
bit about sort of the mission structure? We saw this open up with kind of a drop ship type of thing, and then everyone's sort of running around. Looks like gathering a lot of resources. Can you talk a bit about sort of the different objectives we'll have in the game?
For sure. So the host of the game, they pick where they're going to come in on the map. So the map has these different regions, and there's actually a dynamic element of that
Please don't
that we're
say
going to talk
procedurally
about
generated.
in the future. But they have these kind of insertion points that sometimes are active, sometimes they aren't, and they can see where the mission is. So they choose where we're going to enter the mission. They might want to do some optional activities on the way, or they might want to get straight into the heart of the mission, get cracking, try and get through it quickly so they don't run out of supplies. Once they've chosen that, you get the quite cool insertion sequence, down you go, and then depending on the area you've landed in, it might be an area that has supplies, great, you can top up what you've got, or it actually might be straight into the combat and you've got dinosaurs coming at you immediately, which can be quite overwhelming, obviously. You then have your mission, often objectives that you can take out in different orders, the order that you choose to do it in, and there is these optional activities that spawn around the map as well, so players can pick to do those if they want to. Now, once they've finished what's been asked of them for the mission, then they have to extract. And here is a sort of a one-off
So it's kind of
situation
like
that
Deep
happens every
Rock in a
mission you
sense,
play.
except
You
for
have
you're
to
not
get
going
back out. So
underground.
you go to one of these extraction points, you call in the dropship, and depending on how bad the area is, the sort of threat level of that area, it depends on how long the dropship's going to
And
take
like,
to get to
open.
you, and you have to
Yeah.
fight off the enemies for as long as possible till the dropship arrives. You can get on board and get back with all your loot and surviving.
Nice. Can you speak a little bit about the scale of the map? Because this is.
So it doesn't seem like there's going to be much of a
It looks huge. Is
story.
it the kind of thing where that mountain over there, we could actually go all the way over there?
If they do the action right, that should
Yes,
be
so
fine.
obviously the heritage.
Yeah, totally.
Avalanche Studios is all about these open world games, and we're not actually talking about this as an open world game. We're talking about this as a big map game because we have units, on their feet, moving around. There's no vehicles in the game apart from the dropship, and we found that actually the best sort of play experience was for a more compressed map. I mean, it's still pretty big, and you can go anywhere you
I wonder
like, as you'd
how
expect from this kind
big
of
the
game.
maps are.
But it's not
Oh.
the enormousness of other open world games out
Okay.
there. So yeah, we like to call it a big map game instead.
I like that. That's fair. Can you speak a little bit about when people will get their hands on it? Do you have a release window planned? Any plans for a beta or anything like that?
For sure, yeah. Well, we're not announcing the release just yet, but it's going to be announced very soon. There is going to be a beta. You can actually sign up to that now on the website, which is secondextinctiongame.com, and there's a war support /war support. You can go there, and there's a cool little referral scheme. So if you get your friends to sign up, you can get some exclusive kits for your characters, exclusive skins, that kind of thing. And yeah, we really want to start engaging with the community now. Get a lot of people into the beta, get their feedback, and sort of grow it together with them as time goes on.
Game.
Nice. Well, shooting mutant dinosaurs in the face is fun, but it's even more fun with friends. Thank you for talking to me about the dinosaurs.
Sign up for the beta.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about Second
I do that
Extinction
with
later this year.
every E3. I do that. Wherever beta they have, I sign up.
I'm gonna try to contact dev if they have a PR and be like, "Yo, hook us up," because I want to talk about it.
Good job, Max. That sounds like you're like my dog or something. You're not my dog, you're my coworker. Anyways, we're right in the middle of IGN Expo #1, part of IGN Summer of Gaming, a cavalcade of video game reveals and deep dives continuing tomorrow and indeed for weeks to come. Coming up after the break, Tom Marks will show us a new game he's been
Oh goodness, she
interested
said weeks to
then
come.
I'll be back to bring
All
you
right.
a closer look at Metal Hellsinger, which, as you could probably tell from the badass trailer we just watched, is a rhythm-based shooting game in which you tear ass through hell. That sounds so painful, but it's a really cool game, so stay tuned. And check back tomorrow wherever you stream or on IGN One on your Samsung TV Plus for more IGN Expos and the big Sony State of Play reveal stream. All that and much more right after this. Stay tuned. IGN Summer of Gaming is brought to you by Fuser, who will be partying with us.
All right, so yeah, I think that game looked cool. Actually, let me turn this down a little bit. Yeah, I think it looked cool. I'm curious of how the missions are gonna play out. I wish it was 4-player and not 3, because somebody always gets left out when you do a 3-player. Especially if these are longer styled missions, as opposed to Apex, so like you can die in like 4 seconds and then someone else can jump in, right? If you're doing a rotation. But with in this case, yeah, it's presumably a long game, like each match, I should say, or level is long.
I assume there's gonna be like difficulty levels and stuff like that, so it may end fast, but we'll see.
Depending, yeah. But outside of that, it looks fun.
Yeah. I actually sent you the link, and apparently if you get one other person to sign up, you get into the beta. So one recruit equals beta access.
Oh, really?
So I just recruited you. You recruit someone else. Then we have beta access.
Nice. Yeah, we'll get a squad. We'll probably get Brandon in there and check it out. I'll hit them up on the side and just to see if we can write about it. You know what I mean? Like we can share our thoughts.
Yeah.
Or see if we can get a preview, type of preview build or something.
Last of Us.
I really want to get. I'm going to get Last of Us 2. Probably not at launch, just because I don't have as much disposable income as I would like, and so I think I want to get Cyberpunk a little bit more. And then there's also the Avengers game and a couple other games. So I'm gonna get it before 2020 is out, but maybe just probably not at launch. Heck, I still haven't played Final Fantasy yet.
Really good game.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people talking about it, and I saw some of your stream of the game. So.
And we'll be streaming. Although you're not getting it, I'll get it, and I'll be streaming Last of Us 2.
Yeah, so I'll definitely stop by.
IGN Summer of Gaming, where we highlight exciting under the
Tom
radar games
Marks,
worth
what's
your
good?
attention. This first one asks the
Who
wonderful
are you?
ridiculous question of what would
They
happen
just said
if
it.
GTA 2's top-down
No, I know it's
action
Tom
headband
Marks.
and set it
No,
during
below
medieval
that they said who he
times.
was.
Take a look at some exclusive new gameplay
I must
from
have missed that.
Rustler
Sorry.
Grand Theft Horse.
We can rewind it back. Grand Theft Horse. Okay. Is this like a Diablo-esque game?
No, it's like Grand Theft Auto, old school Grand Theft Auto.
Oh,
I mean, that's obviously what they're going for.
I didn't even think about that.
You didn't read what he was saying?
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's hard to listen when you're talking. That's why you have two ears and one mouth. That's my fault.
Wow.
That's actually a really cool concept if you think about it, though. Or rather, I guess, would it be Red Dead now? Like Red Dead, old school Grand Theft Auto? Since we have, I mean, Red Dead is mad similar.
Yeah, they're probably going for like a mix of both. It seems like it's just a joke game. I mean, not saying that they weren't trying to make like a real game out of it, but I mean, you could clearly see what they were aiming for.
Yeah.
Like a fantasy Grand Theft Auto.
GTA, yeah. That's a cool concept, though.
Like what you see? Then head on over to IGN.com or YouTube.com/IGN to watch the full.
Yeah, and those old school.
Old school what?
The old school GTA games are actually like really good, but not many people had a chance to play them just because how old is the game? 20 years old? More?
I think more. I mean, a lot of people played it. That's how we eventually got GTA 3, but it was yeah, it's definitely
And I'm so excited for you to be joining us.
retro at this point.
Premiered the trailer.
I was saying unless you're like
Oh my god.
at least 25, you probably didn't play it.
Talk more about this
Well, I mean, I'm in my 30s, so.
Yeah, so yes.
I mean, it was on PS1.
Let's dive in.
That's not too old.
So excited. Thank you so much for being here with
Bro,
us.
PS1 came out in 1997.
So,
we are in 2020.
we just saw you
True.
for the very first time. Let's just dive in because that looks like something
97 or
I've never
98?
seen before. So it is a rhythm
It's old.
shooter. Can you tell us about
96. It came out in 96.
Wait, hold up. She said it's a rhythm shooter?
Should I tell you about the origin of it, or should I tell you about?
Oh, that's
the,
what. Oh,
I mean, like, the idea
yeah. I told you like it sounded like it was syncing up
I was thinking about it
with the
originally,
music.
It was something.
I thought they were just doing that for the trailer.
You get into when you're playing rhythm games, and I get into them also with first-person shooters. And then at some
What?
point I was thinking it would be cool if I could do both. And then especially if it had music that I loved involved, I felt like those three things would work, and therefore we wound
This
up
is like the Necro Dancer, but
probably
first
making
person
this
and
crazy
guns.
And cutting people up and cutting demons up.
So totally not like the Necro Dancer, just the rhythm part.
It brings the two things that you love together into one.
That is true. Yeah. Oh, you're doing a lot of.
So is he like reloading? I don't know what he's doing when he's shaking the skull or something.
The skull.
Yeah.
A rhythm. I feel like a lot of rhythm games, you choose the song that you want to play and then you play it, right? It's very like stagnant. Can we expect that there's going to be a through line? Is there a story?
Yeah. So it's unlike. I think there are games that typically do this, and they are static. As you point out, you have like a static track that you're trying to play against. And we tried that, and it wasn't fun. And we're like a shooter. We've made a lot of shooters internally. The people at the studio. And so knowing that, we wound up making a shooter that has these rhythm components rather than a thing where you're on rails and you're trying to do things that essentially like limit your agency as a player. So for us, it was more important to make it feel like
There's a lot of times I say that just as long as games have been being made, there's only so much you could do to keep innovation. But although it's few and far between, this is one of those moments I could actually say this is different, like very different.
Yeah, it's like a rhythm doom, like you were saying.
Yeah, that's like I might like I don't know how I feel about the game yet, but I might it's something I might just get just because it's different.
That's such an interesting
Yeah.
component.
Because I mean, there's so many ideas that have been thrown out, so many genre combinations.
Right.
But shooting and rhythm,
Full track sort of a thing. So let's talk about
I think the
Doom and Rock Band.
The Rock of Doom.
I mean, right now this is like a super early build, so actually
Gotta make that game.
I hope it's current stuff. So, but like in principle, like there's a whole bunch of criteria that we're evaluating, like you keeping the beat, like you see right there, using paths to kind of keep the beat up. So everything that you do, every action that you take, like shooting the enemy or you see yourself hitting him on the beat there, killing him on the beat, or any number of other actions.
That's pretty sweet.
All those things give you score, and the score is multiplied by the thing that you see up there. That's a sort of multiplier, and there are any number of things that kind of give you score in the course of the game. So, and then at the end of the level, there are a number of other criteria that are applied, and those things collectively.
And just FYI, everyone who's watching, we assume that you already watched on your own time. So like if we're talking over them a little bit, it's because we assumed you already watched. You're watching again with us to hear our opinions, not so much to learn anything. So yeah, we're trying to let them talk a little bit, but we're also going to talk because it's mostly about us. So, but I just wanted, if you're wondering, like they're talking over the story stuff, it's like, well, yeah, we assumed you watched it already.
Like a point of progression and persistence things give you access to other, whether it's upgrades or other things. Later in
It looks like they're on okay, not all the enemies. Some of them look like puppets, like they're on or marionettes on strings. That's kind of neat.
I mean, in a lot of games that have like demons, that tends to be something that that they do.
Oh, really?
Just because, yeah, like there was a lot of them in like Devil May Cry. The first Devil May Cry was like that.
Oh yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of things were like puppets. But then again, they said it was a really early build, so that could just be part of like some of like skeletons they're using and things like that. It might like they might come off at a later build.
In theory, overturn the.
Did they said this is early, so I'm assuming this is coming to next gen.
At least that's
I mean, yeah, well, it's 2021. I hope they don't release. I hope they don't release anything for the Xbox One in 2021.
Well, you know that's gonna happen.
Or not only for the 2020. Not only for the Xbox in 2021. Xbox One.
So that's kind of like the
yeah. Well, I mean that tends to happen. Like there were 360 games still coming out when the Xbox One came out. So
yeah, but it was
the major,
usually they're dual
the major
like
studios,
dual releases.
I mean, because you think about it, even GTA didn't start that way. Like it eventually came to Xbox One.
Along the way.
Yeah,
it wasn't there at launch, is what I mean.
We're like slowly running out of time.
Oh yeah, yeah, but the game was like already out like well before the Xbox One and the PS4.
Antagonist, and I know that a lot of
your right, I see what you mean.
Past or in a lot of interviews
Yeah.
we've talked
And then they ported it over. But like if they're gonna release this next year, they would do like what Call of Duty Ghost did. Call of Duty Ghost was out for PS4 and Xbox One, and then they still released it for 360 and PS3.
But yeah, that also depends on how big the studio is. I'm not sure about the Outsiders.
Just in the way that
I don't remember
this character who
hearing about them.
Looks a certain way and seems to be doing a certain
in terms of
thing,
them,
and
I would assume they're
looks a certain way and seems to be doing
more
a certain
indie.
thing.
Yeah.
And the Paz the Skull, same thing. All those things, I think. I would hope that my particular things that I care about are also present there. So yeah.
Yeah.
He seems so tired and like out of it.
Most of his things I can possibly get.
So
Must have been a rough
this
week.
question is solely for me, but we have to end the interview really quickly, so I'm going to ask it super fast. But is the person that we're watching in that in the footage that we just watched, are they just really good at the game, or does the music tailor to your shooting abilities so that you're on beat?
They are really good.
Got it.
They are
Okay, cool.
exceptionally good.
Because I was definitely vibing.
Yeah,
I
that
wonder,
person
did they
is
catch?
like if you
I didn't
play,
catch what happens if you
probably
play
not going to be that
poorly.
good, and not at the start. In fact, I remember I told the person who was doing it like, Jesus, all right, well you're really good. So yeah,
Calm down.
There's definitely yeah, it's cool though.
Alrighty, well, David, thank you so much for talking to us. Before we go, do you have any information that you can give us on when we can expect to play this game and maybe what platforms it's coming to?
I think we can say that it's coming to PC and next gen and to current gen, and it's coming in 2021.
Oh, there you
Thank you
go.
so much. We definitely look forward to hearing more about Metal
Oh.
Hellsinger in the future.
Current gen also, so releasing it for both.
Yeah, they shut me up. So I heard Kenny saying some stuff, so let me just clarify. It's coming everywhere except for the Switch.
Well, now we head from a bullet hell to a concrete jungle. If you're a fan of the Yakuza series,
I mean,
Yakuza Like a
yeah,
Dragon,
happens
it's
from time to
probably
time,
already
and
on your
Switch
radar,
kind of gets
and
left
you
out.
know what you're in for, which is a densely
Yakuza.
packed city
Let's
map
do
full of
this.
minigames, organized crime, and ridiculous brawls.
I
In
need
case
this
you're
game.
unfamiliar, here's 15 minutes of exclusive first look gameplay with one of the producers telling us all about the new game. Quick question though, will someone get beaten over the head with a bicycle?
Whoa.
No, I'm kidding. I already know the
15
answer.
minutes.
Of course they will. Let's see what else Max found out
Yeah, man.
about Yakuza
Actual
Like a
gameplay.
Dragon.
That's crazy. We have, what, 3 or 4 games already with actual gameplay? What?
Well, seeing as how E3 was kind of put off, they probably had more time to just, instead of doing something that's
As
they
the
could have
eighth
to
entry in the Yakuza
splice
series, Yakuza
for
Like a Dragon
E3,
might
they
seem
could
a
just
bit
do,
intimidating, but
you know,
launching on a whole bunch of
do
different
something like
platforms
this.
and with a new protagonist and a brand new setting, it's as good a jumping on point as any. Joining me to talk about this brand new game is Scott Strickart, the senior localization producer from Sega.
Brand
of
new
this
setting.
wonderful series. Scott, thank you for joining
Yeah, man.
us.
Always good to hang out with
New
you, Max.
protagonist and everything.
So,
And new
I have been
gameplay.
somewhat on
It's
media
not a beat 'em
blackout
up
with
anymore.
Like a Dragon. This is obviously a huge, big new installment that is doing a lot of new stuff with the series. It's already been out in Japan for a little while, but you guys always go a really long
And
way
it's coming to
with, how you
Xbox.
approach
Yeah.
localization. For people who haven't been paying close
I
attention,
got
can you give us a little bit of a
PS4 as well. I'm
rundown
just
of,
saying. I'm just saying.
what the setting is, who the main character is,
Xbox
what we can expect to
1?
see.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
so our previous protagonist, Kazuma Kiryu, his story arc ended in Yakuza
I don't know if you meant
7.
Xbox 1 or next
We
gen,
got
because
picked
I
up
actually
the,
haven't heard of this. So
new character, Ichiban Kasuga
Oh.
here. Is a
Have you
brand
played
new
any of the
storyline,
Yakuza?
all featuring him. He's our new protagonist.
way
He's very much a different guy
way
from
back
Kiryu ever
when.
was. There's a lot of
Okay,
different
because they did a
things
lot of
about him that are
like remaster,
that where
brought them
Kiryu
back
is,
out.
we all kind of know him.
And
Ichiban's gonna hopefully
yeah.
steal everyone's hearts as we get into his story. So his primary story takes place in Yokohama, which is a city kind of adjacent to well, it's in Tokyo, but it's a different suburb. So it's a completely new city for us. It's like 3 times the size of Kamurocho, and
oh, dude, it's like
gonna be pretty cool.
They're actively
Now, one
fighting.
Of the big, huge changes that's
it's still
happening
it's
this time
turn-based,
around
but it's
is
not.
that, Yakuza, which is
Looks almost like a
kind of an action
party-based game, like
is
an
now
RPG.
A party-based, turn-based RPG.
It is.
Can you talk a little bit about that and how you're maintaining
But
the same
they're actively
level of
moving. They're not just
expectation
waiting
for
around.
totally over-the-top action in a a more of an RPG setting.
Absolutely. So Ichiban is his story is heavily dependent on his friendships that he makes with these other characters. They're all kind of coming from the same kind of climbing out from rock bottom kind of situations. It's a lot of people kind of from the edges of society coming together.
Menacing men.
And the dev team really felt like the best way to portray that was to allow the player to play as more than just Ichiban.
That looks really cool.
Hang their hat on that like friendship thing that's kind of happening with Ichiban. So he's a very charismatic dude, and he attracts people to his kind of
okay, so they're
demeanor,
moving
but
around.
at
They're
the-
not
and at the
actively
same
attacking.
time,
Okay, I see.
He's a retro gamer, so
That's neat.
These kind of RPG battles that are happening are very much kind of his mindset kind of happening in that you're looking at whenever the battles kind of transition. You probably saw that like when the battle transitions, the enemies that are he's fighting literally become like this almost kind of like monsters, and that's all kind of happening in his head, being portrayed kind of in the game.
Oh,
But
that's
we
neat. It's
absolutely
happening in his
haven't
head.
forgotten our roots as an action game, and there's all
Huh.
kinds of ways that we're playing heavily to the audience who expects kind of more quick snappy kind of action. So that's all kind of incorporated into this RPG turn-based system that kind of under the hood will allow you to still kind of perform the action that you will love and know.
I
From
wonder
the
if you can
series.
like avoid
I
fights
dig
since
that.
you can
So
see them.
your party and your friends that you're
Yeah.
making, can you talk a bit
Oh.
about how
Did
how
they
much
ever say
variety you're
release
gonna have
date for
in terms
this?
of party members and characters you're going to be
It's
using
already
to
on
play?
Japan, but here I
Right,
want to
so right now we
say.
have
Let me double,
a full party of 4.
let me double check.
6 plus.
Probably shouldn't be too long because it looks like it's
and that's
already
gonna be one way that
localized.
you can differentiate your party. But we also have
They're probably
a
still doing
full-on
the
job
scripting.
system with 19 jobs that you
Gotcha.
can pick up. And a lot of the times I think people think of jobs as being like, all right, here's my thief, my
Yeah, it
ranger,
released in
my
January
mage
for
kind of things. But
the
we're using
PS4, and then
classic
it's supposed
Yakuza
to
approach for
be.
this and allowing you to select like real life jobs.
Oh, it's also
So,
coming to Xbox Series X.
we'll show some of that gameplay in a bit here, but we'll
It just says
change
2020.
all the jobs for the characters. You'll see some of that kind of come into play.
They might announce it here.
Now, in the previous Yakuza games, you occasionally, get different outfits, but they're usually not something you can unlock until later in the game. Are we going to see? I don't know if armor is the right word, but sort of different wardrobe for Ichiban and your party members.
Yes. So each job has its own custom outfit, and then in addition to its own custom outfit, has a couple different variations on it. So not only that, there's going to be all kinds of unlockable kind of costumes that, like we always do, we throw those into the free add-on stuff that like Yakuza does. We're one of the only people who continues to just throw free content post-launch, and those all will have costumes in it.
Now, the setting, I want to talk about this. How would you say it compares, other than just in terms of scale, to some of the previous settings like Sotenbori or Kamurocho?
So Yokohama is a massive port city, and it's got like 9 different districts. So you've got the uptown, you've got lowtown, you've got downtown, you've got the commercial district, you've got an industrial district, you've got Koreatown and Chinatown, and all these different like areas kind of have their own vibe and their own feel to them. And what's neat about it is that there's you may have noticed as he was playing some of the gameplay that like there's a different threat level to each of those. So like wandering too far and outside of your level is definitely going to be more of a challenge for you, and you're going to have to really kind of pick your strategy better when you're roaming through more dangerous areas.
In terms of enemy variety, we've seen like the wonderful, there's the threatening men, and there's delinquents, and there's various grades of street thugs. How do you maintain that same level, sort of within the pageantry of an RPG? Are there going to be? Are we going to get fantastical here? Is it going to get really like over the top?
You probably saw that as I was mentioning, like the enemies are literally transform, and that's something that we play into really heavily. There's all kinds of different types of monsters. You add them very early on in the story. You gain what's called a Suji Dex in your as an app on your phone.
This is a day one purchase. I just want to throw that out there.
Um,
Or unless
so you're basically
we might get a review code because we reviewed like every Yakuza game. We even got the bundle recently that came to Xbox One that had the last 3 games on it. I think it was 4, 5, and 6 or something. No, was it 4, 5? Whatever. I think 6 is still is on Sony, but so I think it's the other ones. But anyways, the only one that we haven't reviewed is the side, the spin-off, the zombie-based one.
Yeah.
A Yakuza game where you're
so we might get it
playing
for
as
review.
a JRPG nerd within the game. Like there's that level of like it seems very meta.
This looks so cool.
It's a little meta, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a whole conversation that Ichiban has with his party members early on. And he's like, "Guys, did you see those monsters transform?" And they're like, "No, bro, but whatever it is that you're thinking, like that's fine as long as it helps you fight."
I guess we've seen. I think I caught a glimpse of Kiryu showing up in one of the trailers or some gameplay. Can you talk about sort of how this is going to intersect with the existing Yakuza Judgment universe?
So it is definitely set in the same universe. When Ichiban gets out of Ichiban takes the fall for a crime that he didn't commit, very similar to our previous protagonist. But when he gets out in the year 2019, it's a brand new world for him in which the Omi Alliance has.
That's also like the other protagonist. It's a whole new world.
Rivalry that the Omi and the Tojo clan have had for the last 6+ games, that's a huge deal, right? Like it's massive, and so all of that is kind of unfolding in the background as Ichiban is continually like kicked lower and lower. And like you mentioned, Kiryu and some of our previous pro tags even are kind of in the background, and you'll definitely intersect with them kind of later in the game in a way that is epic. But I don't want to spoil too much.
They got to be a summon.
Now, I think my
The other
favorite part of the
protagonists.
Yakuza series, obviously the super heavy duty, dramatic,
There was a dope
operatic crime
summon
stuff
that
is
they
cool,
showed
but I
a
love all
while
of the weird
ago
sub
where
stories
the
and
guy
just
throws
the side
a
characters you
lobster
run
at
into
someone.
along the
I think
way.
that's why he was looking at
And
it
you
when they were
and the
walking by.
localization team always seem to have a really good time.
That was really
bringing
funny.
that stuff to life. Can you talk a little bit about some of the we saw a lobster on the street at the very beginning of this
Right,
this
lobster.
footage who it seemed like you could talk to. Can you talk about some of just the silly
Oh,
stuff
there
that
it
we're going to
goes.
be
Look
doing
at
in
that.
this game, in addition to
Oh
the
my
heavy duty
God.
crime drama?
So yeah, you saw that the crawfish over there. Her name's Nancy. I don't want to talk too much about Nancy because we will absolutely be showing more of Nancy later. But yes, that involves Ichiban basically making friends with the crawfish, and it's just as bonkers as you might expect Yakuza to be. There's still heartwarming sub stories. There's still very dramatic sub stories, but for the most part, the sub stories lean pretty hard into the nonsense side of things. Not to mention all the jobs and special attacks that we're now kind of seeing that the musician, for instance, having a move called album drop, where he literally drops an album on a guy. So
Album drop.
Now, the other thing that is huge in Yakuza games is all the different sort of mini games and activities. We've seen some of these teased. This has kart racing, is that right?
Dragon Kart is a full-on like a Tokyo. It's very popular in Japan where you like get in those like little go-karts and run around the town. But of course, we had to bring our Yakuza twist to that with rocket launchers and satellites and all that kind of nonsense and machine guns. So that's very much a mini game you can play. I think later in this footage we're going to show a little bit of Can Quest. You can hop on like a rickshaw and start collecting cans, but for a little bit of side income, and that's hilarious. And here we are. Your goal here in this mini game is to collect these cans and get the boosts, and without getting kind of taken out by your competition who's out there also collecting cans. You have to ram them, and you have to avoid the garbage truck and the thieves, and get back to the goal in time before running out of time to collect your cans.
Are we going to see any of this?
I really hope this is multiplayer.
Games we've gotten used to. I mean, we've
Some of the
we've done hostess clubs, we've done
mini
real
games
estate
before
and
have been
construction
multiplayer, but not the
companies.
story.
Yeah.
There is a
I'm just talking about just disc market. That just looks cool. That is hilarious.
Story happening, and it's just as intricate as Real Estate Royale was, where Ichiban was
He got knocked
taking
over.
a failing confectionery company, and taking that from a literally failing company to a great holdings company, where you'll have to recruit managers, assign them to properties, and to go into these really epic like shareholder battles where the shareholders are laying out their grievances, and you have to fight them and apologize to them with naturally over the top level of Yakuza nonsense.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I mean, the thing about this series that I love is that you wind up latching on to the thing that was you least expected. There'll be some little mini game that you're like, that sounds weird. Who would be into that? And then you find yourself sinking 11 hours into it, and you're like, oops.
Yeah.
Can you? Is there going to be any dating? We've seen that kind of got dabbled in Judgment.
Yeah, if you're familiar with the, I guess the Persona series, where you can level your kind of personality up a bit. If you raise certain levels of your personality enough, you might be able to approach some of the ladies you've met throughout the storylines and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely there. You just have to earn it.
You gotta have karaoke. Doesn't
You
work
mentioned
without
Persona,
karaoke.
That's another Sega property. Obviously, that's kind of the when people think like the turn-based JRPG that Sega makes, that's the big one. And now Yakuza is kind of dipping their toe into that. Have the teams like interacted at all, given each other notes on that kind of thing, or?
That's a great question. They're in the same building. I couldn't tell you, but I think there's definitely some learnings happening, and I think it's just a cool kind of marriage of ideas that's certainly you're seeing with not only Persona but also Like a Dragon.
I love it. Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting to see these sort of parallels. They're both games where you go exploring, in Japan and making friends and fighting stuff. And in this case, it seems like it's definitely dabbling in that JRPG territory, but it's still squarely, Yakuza stuff. Can you talk about sort of it's weird because it doesn't look turn-based. I guess the spacing seems really dynamic and almost more, action RPG ish.
Definitely, it's super snappy. So like you not only in during battle are you can for one automate as anyone that you want.
Yeah, the
To
dude with
automate, so you can make it incredibly
peace
snappy quickly. But also there's this
chain
very
is he
dynamic
just
kind of
looks so
live
funny
action
to
kind of
me.
feel happening where the characters are just kind of they're dancing around each other a little bit. And
He's talking
so,
about
like,
the
if
guy that has
characters,
the like
between
the
you and or
the
if his
fire
bike is
move where he
between you and
breathed
a character, your character will
fire
automatically
earlier.
Yeah, he has
pick up
the
that bike,
guitar.
weave it into his attack.
Just
So
then he
like,
looked really goofy.
that happens, and then another
Yeah.
character, if you've leveled up your bond via drink links with that character, they will step in and do
I wonder if these characters are important characters, or if
there's
it was
action prompts that
a
are like,
system where
you've probably seen
you
in
meet someone on the
Sims
street and
where
you can
the
befriend
character,
them,
you'll have to
and
be
then they
pressing
become
buttons
they join your
and
party.
do perfect guards, and so you are like on your toes at the whole
That'd be
time.
cool if they
It's not a
actually have
very
like a recruitment
passive
system.
battle system at all.
Yeah.
You can tailor that to be as slow or as fast as you want.
Well, that is awesome. This was, of course, got a big, huge announcement reveal thing at there was the Xbox Series X presentation direct state of Xbox, whatever the hell we're calling it. There's too many of these things. And everyone's dying to know about next gen. Can you say anything about what people can expect from Yakuza Like a Dragon on the Series X compared to sort of current gen?
We're definitely supporting the smart delivery feature. And
Yes,
outside of that, there's like
smart
we're
delivery.
still figuring that out a little bit, but for the most part, we're ready to support next gen on this, which is going to be pretty cool.
Okay, so when can people
this
expect
is-
to get their
oh,
hands
hold
on
up.
Yakuza Like a Dragon, Scott?
We'll be there day one on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Windows 10, and Steam.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming
Wait,
by
what?
and chatting. I'm a big fan of Yakuza, as you might have guessed. by
Are
my
they saying
suit.
the
Get married in
launch?
suit, and I do my Yakuza E3 interviews in this suit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's what
thanks
it
for
sounds
coming
like.
by. This has been great. I'm dying to know more about Yakuza Like a Dragon, and it's been a pleasure.
Huh. So they gave us a date without giving us a
Thank you.
date. Awesome. I don't care. I want it. That's that's the main thing that I took
Now
away.
we're up to speed on Like a Dragon. It's time for another quick break, but don't worry, it won't drag on. Stick around for another round of exclusive new game trailers, the latest on Borderlands
So yeah,
3
since
DLC,
they're
and
doing,
more as IGN
they're gonna
Expo
break
Day
in a
1
sec. We can kind of
continues.
talk a little bit.
Then check back tomorrow for another charity speed run, IGN Expo number 2, and Sony State of Play reveal stream.
Looks,
Summer is just getting started.
So I was letting her finish. It looks cool. It looks fun. I like that the quirkiness, the stuff that, or the silliness that is in the Yakuza series is translating over really well here. And I think it can do it even more so, being that it's a turn-based RPG. You can really kind of go overboard with the craziness and the whatnot. And so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to just diving right in. That looks a lot of fun. Like a lot of fun. And that important to note, they said that they were doing they're gonna do the thing where you buy it on the Xbox One and you can also play it on the Xbox Series S when it comes out, which is it's quite cool.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yeah,
Not having to buy the game twice.
Exactly, and I'm not, I'm typically not down for digital. I like physical copies. However, it's been really beneficial now that we're in, Corona, we can't go out like talking about. But yeah, if I can get it on both consoles, because I might not get it day one. I might not, maybe, I don't know yet. We have to see what Sony is showing us, and the state of the world at that point. But yeah, like especially with like Cyberpunk and that game and a couple other games that I was interested in, that's something that would make me kind of lean towards Microsoft more so than Sony, because I feel like I'm not wasting money. I guess not that it's a waste. Like I don't want to say it's a waste. Like when God of War came out on the PS2, even though the PS3 had just dropped, that was still a great game. You know what I mean? And you already had the console, so it's not a waste of money. But it feels good to be like, I will play it, and then a couple months later, when the new system comes out, I can play it again or hopefully continue my save, and yeah, I'll have the improved version, without having to spend the extra money. So it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. see. I
This
wonder
is
who's
IGN
next.
Summer of Gaming, and we are still in the midst of IGN Expo 1. Don't forget, all Summer of Gaming long, IGN is asking you to give to the Bail Project Fund and World Health Organization by clicking the donation links in the description of this video or heading on over to donate.ign.com.
The Bail Project is a nonprofit that pays bail for people in need, reuniting families, and restoring the presumption of innocence. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization's COVID-19 Response Fund is dedicated to studying, tracking, and combating the coronavirus pandemic. All of this is all very well and good, but even better, by donating, you'll have a chance to win codes for games like Resident Evil 3 and swag from companies like Bethesda. And for even more Summer of Gaming goodness, download the TikTok app, follow IGN, and check out the Summer of Gaming hashtag, where you can watch along with live events from Summer of Gaming, submit your own Summer of Gaming moments, Summer of Gaming reactions, and Summer of Gaming plays. I just said Summer of Gaming so many times.
Summer of Gaming. But we're only just now getting started, and we've got a lot to cover. So let's check out some more new trailers for incredible upcoming games. Rapid fire style. Judges, show me the trailers. I have no idea what that's from. If you know, let us know in the chat.
Interesting. Let's see what we're looking at here. Let's see. This looks
watery.
Well, he said watery.
Welcome to the Western Pacific. I'm Dr. Mirai Soto, and I'll be your eyes and ears on this expedition.
Is this
I'm
a
joined
VR
today
game?
by two colleagues.
Hello, I'm Andre.
And I'm Irina.
Because that would be
First time
cool.
on a live stream. Be gentle with her.
No, not when you have a shark, flying straight to you. Nah. F that.
I mean, hey, look, you saw Deep Blue Sea. The black guy lives, so I'm good.
The second one lived. The first one did it. Battle.
We're not talking about him though.
I'm hoping to follow the baby for years, to learn from her as she learns from her family.
Okay, so this seems like a more educational.
Thanks for checking in.
Type of game.
That could be pretty cool though.
Oh, I wasn't dissing it. I'm just saying that's what we're looking at.
Is everything tested out?
Fabulous. The overhead
That could be
speakers
like
sound
really
great.
fun to play with the kids.
Glad I brought my tunes.
It depends on how far they're gonna go with it, you know.
Well, probably not little kids, but like
Well, no, the kids
know,
would probably
like-
like to watch it. They like the Discovery stuff on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, so this could be really cool.
Andre, who is messing with my whales?
I don't know if it's really much of a game.
I mean, it qualifies. It's just more, you know. I mean, granted, they didn't show us exactly what was happening for the most part. It was just a little snippet.
Yeah.
Oh, is this Wastelands? Wasteland 3? That's what it looks like.
Out here, every decision is life or death.
I want to check this out too when it comes out.
With the biggest smiles have
Oh, do you already know that's what it is, or 'cause I'm still trying to figure it out?
That's what it looks like.
They're sworn to uphold order
Yeah.
in Colorado Springs, but they're more like the patriarchs.
And if it is, it's coming to Game Pass, so
they uphold are
I'm gonna definitely be playing that.
So you already got it then.
Yeah, if we well, depending on when it drops.
the shining city on the hill it once was.
We'll preserve for our children
This is basically where Fallout came from.
man on Earth, or we'll sentence them to.
But they kill anyone they think is a communist. And they think everyone is a communist. Then there's the 100 families. They claim they want a better Colorado. And they do. But mostly just for themselves.
Can you hear my plea? God brought me here, now he wants me to leave.
Every group has a plan for Colorado's future, even those Butcher and Dorseys. But it's up to you, Ranger. Whose side are you on?
Yep. I hope there's a lot of gray.
Super Fallout.
Well, I mean, I think Wasteland was first before Fallout. Like as a series, I believe.
Ah.
And I think In Exile is I want to say they developed Fallout as well at one point. I'm not fact checking, because yeah, I'm watching stuff, but I believe that's to be the case. Uh-oh, Pathfinder. You've played the one of this before, right?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Maybe it was Brandon who said he had played it. Not this one, but a different one.
Oh yeah.
Real time with pause. I wonder if they're gonna show the is it Baldur's Gate 3 that they announced a little while ago?
Yeah, like they announced that. Wasn't that almost 2 years ago?
Was it? They finally showed gameplay not too long ago.
Yeah, but announced. I believe they announced it like 2018.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it could be wrong, but
so we have like more turn-based stuff coming out. See, which kind of going back to what we were talking about with Tom Clancy, how he was like, I mean, granted, it's obviously there's way more shooters than these type of games, of course, but he was like, everybody wants this type of game. I'm like, there's room in the market for other stuff.
yeah, just gotta see how it actually does.
True, but the fact that there's a bunch.
The demon world separated into turfs.
Yeah, probably trying something different.
And these turfs, yeah, they're filled with all kinds.
I mean, because there are some things that have just been shown to just not do well anymore.
It's also timing, because Gears is doing pretty well. The Gears Tactics.
Yeah, yeah. That's just it's a good game. Good games are always gonna do good, just no matter what. Or great games.
There's some great games that didn't survive.
I mean,
I love the visuals here. This is really cool. It's like cartoony.
Yeah.
It's my time to shine.
Xbox, Steam, Epic, and the Switch. Demon Turf. It's like a platformer.
No, it feels like under normal circumstances, like a regular E3 conference, I feel like a lot of these games wouldn't have gotten as much time as they're getting now.
They would probably be regulated to the PC game show, which isn't a bad thing. It's just, or I should say, it might be a bad thing not to get the spotlight, but it's not a bad thing to be on the PC gaming show. It's actually a good show.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, probably not. Or it would be like in a montage,
Yeah,
where...
that's more of what I mean. Like it would be like a ton of montages, and you'll just see it flash for like a little second. Hey, this game's coming out this date. Okay, next game. That's what I feel about like a lot of these that they're showing right now.
I mean, they did that for Cuphead when they first announced that. That was in a montage.
Yeah,
Cuphead is great.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Real-time damage. What does that mean?
I have no idea. Dual universe. I think I've heard of that. It sounds familiar. But yeah, anytime to showcase some interesting games, I'm down for it. Like some of my favorite games of the past 5
if
years.
If you like those dual universe spaceships,
have been
you can actually download a file to 3D print
non-AAA
one by
games.
visiting the Dual Universe site at dualthegame.com. And right now you can get a discount by using the promo code IGN20. In other news, with AAA games like Mario Odyssey, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, and Psychonauts 2 leading the charge, the 3D platforming renaissance seems to be upon us. And it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. Brian got to chat with one of the designers of a game that could prove to be the next big indie platformer, Demon Turf. Let's check it out.
Battle for Bikini Bottom is considered AAA?
The developer, yes.
Oh, okay.
And SpongeBob is pretty big. Like bigger than I thought. Like you'd be surprised.
Bigger than it's bigger than you thought.
retro
No,
platformer
I need
Slime Song
SpongeBob.
captured
Everybody
our
knows
hearts
SpongeBob
and
is big.
kicked our asses.
Yeah.
And now for Braz, the studio that gave us Slime Song is back with something brand new, Demon Turf. From Fabraz, please welcome CEO Fabian Rossifar and lead programmer Ben Miller. So we have entered the world of Demon Turf, which is a brand new platformer that you guys are working on. Tell me about it. How did this come
It looks a
together?
little bit like Paper
and what
Mario
is this
esque,
game?
cartoony.
Basically, it kind of was
That's weird.
something
Yeah, I can
that
see
was
that.
brewing in my head for a while, and I've always grown up with platformers, 2D platformers and 3D platformers, and we felt with Slime Song we really kind of did everything we wanted to do with the genre. But
I
we
wonder if
weren't
they're.
quite done with what comes with a platforming game, and so we started experimenting.
I wonder if it's
with
actually
a
running at
2.5D
a lower
game at
frame
first
rate,
that then
or
developed
just
into
the
Demon
way
Turf.
they
Our,
yeah, like
you
it's
know,
still running
3D
at 60
platformer, our
FPS,
big
but they
take on the
just like
3D
remove
platforming
some
genre,
frames to make it look like it's running at a
that
lower
kind
frame
of
rate.
tries to combine everything we love from it.
Yeah, I was
but
thinking
also
about
trying
that.
to bring new things to it that are different.
To get the animation that they
We're
want.
just really, really excited to bring it to
Yeah.
In a way, for us, this is kind of a spiritual successor to Slime Song.
So did this kind of
They're definitely not going for anything
something that
to
was
look
2D
fluid.
and sort of
Right.
traditional and was specifically, evocative of a entire style of game, a whole era of video games, to now jump into 3D? That took many other game developers like 15, 20 years to get accustomed to. And for you guys, it was just like 2 or 3 years. You're already into the next dimension. So what were some of the sort of challenges of going from 2D to 3D from a strictly platforming sense?
I mean, honestly, and I think Ben can back me up on this, the weirdest thing about this project is how smooth it's been. Every time we tried out something new, it just kind of worked out pretty well.
That said, like, well, I think it's cool. I'm not sure how I would feel playing it for hours,
and bring into 3D,
because I think
and it just felt like a natural extension. Where actually,
like you were saying with the treatment of the frames or whatever, however doing that effect,
on the art style side.
I think it's bothering my eyes after, like it would bother my eyes after a while.
Yeah, especially if you're used to playing at higher frame rates. Like like me when I play a 30 FPS game, it like kind of bothers me a little bit. But I'm used to playing everything on PC, and I get like 100 frames, 144.
This is because we are
blah blah blah.
2D art with
Seeing it like
3D
this
environments.
just
I think that's kind of the
looks
thing
weird.
It's very different about it. And
I feel like it has
game
that.
modifications I think works out really well for just how.
What game was that on the PlayStation 1? I think it was called Jumping Jack Flash.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It does have that type of vibe. I was just thinking that actually. I couldn't remember the name.
Like fences.
Yeah, that is old school.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost
That's.
sort of like this kind of.
I remember. I
Paper
think I had
Mario-ish
it was on a
aesthetic where you
demo,
have
like a
this
demo disc when
2D
back when you used to
character
get those
that's
in
Yeah.
flipping on different
magazines.
planes or like going through
Yeah.
sort of simplistic animation, but it's still very.
I miss
animated.
those.
And so,
I miss demos in general. Like,
character is doing.
I mean, I know they're starting to
kind
bring
of
those
incredible
back,
Sort of array
but
of different moves here.
yeah, it would
More
be
so
great
than
to
I would say. There's been
not
a
like
sort of a
using them
renaissance
as
of, kind of
means to get
N64-inspired platformers in
pre-orders,
the
but
last few
just
years.
straight
This
demos
character
because
seems to have like a pretty
you know your
insane moveset.
you know your game is
I saw
good.
like a hook shot and then transforming into a bat. We're now sort
Yeah,
of like
just a lot of companies see
don't know, like
demos as a
underwater
risk.
jetting through this tunnel. Like,
I mean, if you're
how did all
you
this come
know
together?
afraid that your game might not
It exploded.
play well,
I mean, honestly, we kind of started working from.
Then
from
you
the
gotta
basics,
make a better
jump,
game. But why make a better
double jump,
game when we could just
add some more
tell you the
dynamic jumps,
name
we
of
add some
it and
triple
then you
jumps,
pre-order it without ever
triangle
trying it?
jumps, super jumps.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it depends on how you pre-order.
So you
Because
can jump
if you
into
pre-order
other
like a
demon
physical
forms,
copy, you can
which are
always
the double jump demon
get your
form
money
and the
back if you
spin
don't
demon form,
like
which
the
allows you
demo.
to traverse over
Yeah.
a certain distance and then slowly fall. But then if you jump out of that, you create a super jump, and so that kind of just like it build up from each other in a really crazy way. And what we did for progression is that we decided some of these things we're going to lock out, and you unlock them throughout the game. And these are what we call the turf abilities. Basically, each turf brings a new one. And so the hook shot is the first one. The second one is the rolling.
That's
wheel,
cool
which
that
you
you
see right
get
here, actually.
get new
Which is basically a snake
abilities
riding
as you
its own
go,
tail,
which is
becoming
kind
a
of cool.
wheel, and then you just go at it.
Yeah.
And I like 3D platform. Well,
The third ability
I should
is
say I like
Glide, which
2D
is essentially
platformers,
a crow
and I
demon
like
you can jump
some
into. And then
really
the fourth
good
one
3D
is the craziest one that
platformers.
honestly
This one
we
is
spend a lot of time on
yeah.
because
there's
the entire
certain
game
things I
can
don't
just
like
focus
about
on
them,
that one
and
mechanic
I could
alone.
get
The
onto that
timer
later.
of
But this
basically you
one,
can shoot out a
you know,
spherical
it's
bubble,
weird
but
because
the longer you charge is
I
the bigger it
like
is.
the look.
But anything
I
within
just
that
don't like
bubble, the time slows down. Enemies,
the
moving
choppiness of it.
platforms, bullets, you name it. So
Yeah,
it
it's
just
just
got more and more. And then the really
and
big part
this
that was also
It's just weird.
big focus of
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
combat.
if it's coming out
Which game is
on,
it? Like is this?
did they
Like
say
love
which console
child?
they're
I'm sure he
playing on
wants
a
to talk about it.
PS4? It looks like.
Yeah, so I mean, like we were trying to
I guess
find
it was
our,
coming out for
sort of our
Switch.
spin on
It'd
on
be
the
something
genre,
cool to
and
look at.
we
It's
felt that we
just
wanted to try something different from like the typical
too
health
weird.
bar and getting them down to zero health approach. So we tried to go for something very like momentum driven and physicsy.
I think I would
where,
definitely
it's
like
more
if I
like health
could, I
where
would
you can
definitely
use
try
like
it.
spikes or pushing enemies
But
off ledges, but you just have this
I think
like
it's
different size of hands and punch combos you can send out. That it's
and it
all
might be
about
the
sort of
funnest game ever, you know,
pushing
like it
enemies
might be really
around
fun
and
to
sort of
play.
platform trying
But I
to get
think
them in the right
visually, I
position
think
to
it
knock
would
them off the stage or into a
yeah, it would
hazard.
I think it would bug me a little bit
And so
after
then
a while.
that was sort of a starting point that then branched off in all different kinds of directions for the combat and
Excuse
mechanic
me.
design of
Or
the game.
if she was just the way she
Now, in
is,
terms of
because I think
level
she's
design, is
it
it
feels like
sort of
the world frames are
freeform?
different
Like,
from
is
her
it
frames.
like it's a kind of situation
Yeah,
where the
you know what?
players can
That
kind of explore and
sounds
traverse as they want and sort of
And I don't know
right.
anything
accomplish
about like
goals, or are there like set
development, so I don't
parameters
know
for
if
what they
that's
need to
the
do in a
case.
specific level?
So don't hold me to that. I'm
It's
just
a bit of
saying
a
that
combination.
it
So
looks
basically,
like
you've
it
got
looks like she
hubs
doesn't
which
fit
you can
with the
freely
world.
explore, and there's
And I think
NPCs, there's side quests, there's shops that
the
you can spend
the
collectibles
dichotomy
on,
between her
and
and
levels do
the
have
environment
collectibles.
is
But I
causing
wouldn't
like a
say that this
weird.
game is necessarily
It's not as
exactly
bad as
found at
like
its heart, because the levels
wearing
are
like a
a start
virtuality
to finish
helmet
line
or
scenario.
like a headset or
Um,
whatever, and then feeling
However,
like
we have a couple of really cool
like the
twists there,
character's moving in the
because basically
virtuality, but
your
they're not
goal
really moving.
is
Like you're not really moving, and
to
so there's a
become the Demon
disconnect.
Queen, right? So
It feels
the
it
Demon
like it
King
feels like that,
currently
but from
rules
a
over
third
all
person
turfs, and you first
you
have
know
to convince
standpoint.
all the gangs of each turf to join your cause to then take on the big honcho, and that means
I
that
don't know why
when
they
you go
couldn't go
through a
with
turf, which is
a
basically
smoother.
a game
Like even
world,
the
and
jump
you go through all the
animation
levels,
seemed weird
that's
to
your
me.
first visit. But then once you've done them all and you've beaten the turf leader, you can revisit
I
these
feel like they
levels,
wanted
and
to
they are
have like this
completely
cartoony look
revisited.
for
We
her,
call it
but then they
the
still want to do this
return
3D
state.
thing.
And basically, at that
And I
point,
think that
the time of day
it
might
could
have
have worked
changed,
if
the
they would
weather
have
has
went
changed, the
all in
layout has changed.
on
There's
either
new
side.
challenges.
Like
And that's kind of like our big
they
twist
could have
that
made
we
her
throw
cell
in there,
shaded
where essentially
and still have a
Yeah.
3D look that's
it's like New
cartoony,
Game Plus, but you
or
unlock
have
it already
this
right
like
at the beginning, and
this
it's far
paper
more than
look,
just a
but
regular
the whole
remake
world
feel.
is
It's
like that.
essentially a new level.
But it feels like certain parts are paper, certain
And
parts
on top of
aren't.
that, then also
Like
on
that
top of that,
crab
there's
from
also
before
that's how
had
we
like paper
introduce the
legs,
turf ability, so that you
but
start
like his front
exploring these
wasn't
levels with
paper
new
or
There
whatever.
mechanics
was
or
one
gameplay that
spot they
sort
put
of
the
new parts
camera
you,
where she
you
looked
wouldn't have dealt with previously.
weird. She looked almost like a 2D sprite.
And also, it's
Like right there.
kind of freeform, so that you have levels, but also you can do them whatever order
Hmm.
you want. So that you have to get through a set number to fight the boss, but then also you can do whichever order and sequence you want to.
I'm
Now,
don't want to like bash the
3D
game or anything.
platformers, 2D platformers
But
in general have
I
a
mean,
sort of
we're
a
not. I
long
don't think we're
history of
bashing per se.
mostly
It's
kind of
just
like
what you know,
happy,
first impression.
optimistic
And
protagonists.
who
You
knows?
know,
Like
like
it
they're
could be
always like
because
a
they're
big
streaming it
twin.
from
Like
somewhere.
literally, Mario is just constantly cheering and
no,
saying
not
"Yaddle,
like
yaddle,"
that.
stuff like that.
It would still be
Your
smooth.
character looks like she doesn't
Not
Like
really
it would still
necessarily.
look
to
one
be hanging out with
way.
anybody. She's pretty much like,
Like
Oh, right,
she
right,
looks
right.
like
You're
a,
right.
like me when I went on vacation with my family in high school, where I was like, I don't want to be here. Tell me about the
Well, I was saying it
protagonist.
could be one of those things where it looks a
Yeah,
little
so
better
her name is
in
Beebs,
person.
and she's a very young
Yeah.
demon. She's 1,000 years old, which is basically nothing in the demon world. Not even reach her teens with that. And she has a ton of attitude, and you definitely picked up on that. The thing is about her, though, that she's kind of rough shell, but soft.
Yeah,
Inside
because it's
she's
not
really
even
soft.
like a. I guess from
Because
a
she does all
snobby
of
like
this. Her
it needs to
entire
be
goal,
polished or it needs to
basically,
be whatever.
is to just
I just
finally
it just
have people take her a little
there's
more
a
serious.
difference with her in the
Because
background
whenever
that
she
it's
says that she
just
wants to do something, they're like, "Oh
it's
yeah, sure, we
cool
will
at
when you grow
first,
up."
but I'm like a whole
But she
game of
wants to
this. I'm
prove
like,
that, hey,
oh
if I
my
say
eyes,
I can
like
take over these gangs, believe me, and like, please don't let me be alone all the time, because she's actually essentially an orphan. She has no parents of any kind, and so that's kind of the narrative that drives her. But on the exterior, without a doubt, she's all about Attitude.
I like that because it's not just like tude. It's like specifically like it's definitely That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Now, in terms of progression, you talked about getting more power ups and stuff like that. We haven't really seen much in the way of boss fights so far, but is that something that you guys are working on?
Yeah, so because the big narrative focus is that you have these turfs with their gangs and their turf leader, the leaders are the big bosses. And unlike what I really like is that unlike a lot of other games where you don't see the boss until you actually face them and then you just deal with them and you never see them again, these are real entities. These are characters that stick around. So they hang around in their hub, and you talk to them, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not. You can't fight me until you convince my gang that it's even worth it." And then you fight them, and afterward they actually address you as the boss, begrudgingly, of course. So it's kind of like a big part of also the feel of the world.
No, I love it. Now you listed some platforms at the end there. And any idea like around like sort of a release date or anything when we can play it? I want to play it. That's basically what I'm asking you. I just want to play this game immediately.
Well, so we were still working on it. So that footage is still technically alpha footage.
All right, so alpha
we don't have a
footage.
solid
Okay,
release date
so
yet. I can give you
it might get
end of
better.
this year, beginning of next year.
Sweet.
Platforms, we definitely can confirm PC, so Steam and Epic Games.
Well, that is pretty soon.
We can confirm Nintendo Switch, and we will most likely release on an Xbox platform.
All right. That's awesome.
Did they say
Thanks,
Sony?
guys. We look forward to hearing more about Demon Turf in the future.
I don't think I heard it.
They said Steam and Epic, Switch and an Xbox platform, but they didn't say Sony.
I don't think I heard
Well,
PC
Brian
at all.
got to show off Demon
Yeah, they
Turf,
said
but
Steam and
I have
Epic.
a
I'm not
commercial
sorry,
break
not
because
PC.
sometimes
PS4.
work assignments aren't fair,
Right, that's what I'm
but
saying.
We do need to pay the bills for a minute, but stick
No.
around for the scoop on a bunch more new games afterwards.
It seemed like they
plus
didn't say anything
tomorrow's
about
Expo number 2 and
PS4
Sony's
or 5.
much anticipated State of Play, all about the PlayStation 5. So check back in wherever you stream or on IGN 1 on your Samsung TV Plus. We'll be right back.
IGN Summer of Gaming is brought to you by Fuser. We'll be partying
So yeah, it's still an alpha. It might improve or it might not. And that's no shot at them. It's just it was bothering me as I was watching. But the premise and everything seems cool, and I'm a big fan of platformers. My first game I've ever played was actually Super Mario. I went back and eventually played the older ones, Atari and was it ColecoVision? I think that's what he said.
ColecoVision.
Yeah, like I went back eventually because my cousins had it, but my first game was Super Mario, and then Pac-Man, and then it kind of went from there. So yeah, basically, I say that to say I like platformers. So yeah. Yeah, I do think it's cool to sit and listen to the developers talk about their game, see gameplay, learn a little bit more about it, as opposed to just a trailer. That's something that we typically get because we don't have enough time. We get like a cinematic trailer, and that doesn't really show me much. Especially now that I'm older, I'm like, get that trailer out of here. Like, it doesn't really. It's not indicative of the gameplay. In some cases, it is. Like, we're looking at this, The Last of Us, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be able to do some of the stuff in this trailer, but it's also very much a cinematic in that, yeah, this isn't what's going to happen.
I don't believe any of this is actual. Like, I doubt she could do a lot of this stuff.
Well, from what I've seen in the gameplay, it's pretty like the fighting and like sliding over things and whatnot. It seems very similar. But as far as like dodging and like busting through a window and all that, like maybe not, to that extent.
Welcome back to IGN Expo 1, a part of the Summer of Gaming. Don't forget, all Summer of Gaming long, IGN is asking you to give to the World Health Organization and Bail Project charities. Be sure to click the donation links in the description of your video player, or
I want to see more about that
donate.ign.com for more information on how and where to
that
donate.
werewolf
Let's
game.
get back into it.
Observer is a cyberpunk.
Honestly, I don't even remember the name of it. Do you remember the name of it?
Yeah, Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Enhanced with a new code of
okay.
thanks to a next-gen release. The fine folks over
Because it's more than just like werewolves. It's also
system Redux.
it seems like there's something going on with time.
And let you look at it too.
Yeah.
Take a look. Go ahead. You can do it.
So this is Observer. I believe this game came out already, or is this the sequel?
This game that you're talking about right now?
Yeah. I mean, they said that they were gonna talk about it, I believe, so they'll
Hi
say.
everyone, I'm Thomas
Yeah.
Bulkowski
Or they'll
from
talk
the
about it
System
now.
Redux dev team. Today we'd like to show you an extensive gameplay demo, including the first glimpses of brand new story content. But first, let's take a look at how we use the next-gen power to deliver an even more immersive vision of year 2084.
Okay, so I think this is like a better version of it with more story content.
For Observer System Redux, we've rebuilt and upgraded the
Yeah, this is
visuals in practically every aspect.
okay. Yeah, it's a better
The game
version,
uses now improved assets, including 4K textures,
which is great because
new
I didn't play the
high-quality
first one.
animations and models, as well as upgraded particle effects and simulations. We've also significantly increased the overall lighting quality across the whole game, with the support of HDR and ray tracing.
Yeah, the game
and
is 3
thanks to
years
such
old.
effects as volumetric lights
So
or
yeah, it's just a
global
remake.
illumination, System Redux delivers a much more atmospheric and impressive depiction of the dark cyberpunk future. Last but not least, we take
I heard it was
advantage of
good.
the SSDs to massively shorten loading times, so that they're mostly unnoticeable for the player. Of course, Observer System Redux will run at 4K resolution
4K,
at
60
60 frames per
frames.
second. Now, let's see the game in action.
So the one thing I want to see is if it could truly maintain 60 frames per second, and if it can, on PC anyway, what
Players
hardware
Dan,
would you
a
need
detective
for
of the
that?
future,
How
able to hack
optimized
into
is
the
it?
minds of others and search for
That is
clues
a good
and
question.
evidence.
Because the thing is, a lot of times they'll say 4K 60 FPS, and that's basically if you're standing still.
Or you need something that's incredibly strong, you know, like the newest
Yeah.
graphics card, like 2 of them
Right
or
now,
something.
you're on the trail of the serial killer,
Yeah.
but the victim just died before you could finish your neural interrogation. To find your next lead, you must search the room the old-fashioned way.
The premise was really cool though.
Strain level decreased.
Like being a detective and connecting people, you know, to people's minds and trying to. It reminds me of a little bit of that, like what's that movie with Jennifer Lopez? Crap.
With Jennifer Lopez.
No, yeah.
What might that be?
Hold on. We got time.
This altar of affection marks the beginning of one of the new storylines added to the System Redux. Her Fearful Symmetry, as this side case is called, tells a psychotic love story explored through the lens of the game's dystopian and transhumanist themes. Right now, however, Dan must find Helena.
My timing is really off today. Poor Helena.
Yeah.
656
The Cell.
We have a third victim. Time of death.
That I did not get a chance to watch.
Starting forensic
It was okay. It's all right. But this reminds me of jumping into people's minds, and in this case, they did it in the cell. They jumped into the mind of a serial killer as they were comatose.
Work is enhanced with 2 scanners.
Helena Novak, wife of the previous victim, Amir Novak.
GA.M.E Visions lets you analyze electronic devices.
Looks like it does a good
while
job of
Wild
setting an
Vision
atmosphere,
helps
at
to
least.
pick up any organic traces and clues.
Yeah.
The neural implants untouched.
Warning. Attempting a necroneural connection is in direct violation of the Postmortem Observation Act of 2061. Authorization denied.
So I wonder if this is considered survival horror in a way. I mean, I'm sure scary stuff happens, but
Huh.
This better be worth it.
Let's fast forward a bit for the sake of this presentation. After the risky hacking of Helena's dead mind, Dan is closer to finding the killer, but starts to experience hallucinations.
so I guess his mind is jacked up because he keeps jumping into people.
Disturbing visions, previously experienced only when hacking somebody's mind, begin to seep into the physical world, blurring the line between what's real and virtual, which is another of the important issues discussed in the story.
Has a Black Mirror vibe.
You know, I gotta start watching that.
You haven't watched any of them?
I have not. But the way people talk about it.
From an unknown sender.
Some are really good. Some are and some are bad. So, you know, they are worth watching though. Like as a whole, they do some really cool stuff story-wise.
But there are more than that. We're designing a full package along with new puzzles, game mechanics, and mind-bending Dream Eater segments. With the code from the club, Dan can push forward after the killer.
I wonder if the blood was actually blue or he just saw it blue.
He is here.
And he's gonna cut off right before he turns the corner, isn't it? I'm not gonna be able to see the killer, is it?
Oh, I mean that would kind of ruin the story, right? Like,
well, this could be the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
This gives me almost like a just the way the atmosphere looks and feels with everything flying around. It gives me almost like the first time I played BioShock. It gives me like that type of feel.
You know, I still need to beat the first one.
Oh God. You know what? I didn't see Black Mirror yet, so you know what? That's fine.
Oh. I wonder if there's multiple killers.
This concludes today's presentation, but stay tuned for future reveals of
that's a
all
lot
the
of hits.
upgrades and new content we're working on. Observer System Redux comes to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X later this year. Thank you for watching.
Totally just realized he was talking like a robot. That was a little meta.
All right. Well, to see the Observer trailer again in beautiful, stunning, magnanimous 4K
Oh, so
resolution,
it's not coming out on
head on
Steam?
over to IGN.com and you can have it as a treat. And for even more Summer of
I'm pretty
Gaming
sure
coverage,
it'll eventually
download
come
the
to
TikTok
PC.
app, follow IGN, and check
Yeah.
out the hashtag IGN Summer of Gaming, where you can watch
That's
along
something I
with
was
live
interested
events
in. I
and
might have
submit
actually
your
played
own
that. It
Summer of
looks.
Gaming moments, reactions, and
Granted, it looks like I'll be
plays.
tense the whole time playing it, but I can
While we're
handle
still
it.
on the
I think.
subject of
Maybe.
Observer, here's something that I've observed.
Well, the original one
Segways are
is
very
out
hard
on
to
PC,
ride.
I believe.
That's right, I'm talking about
No,
Borderlands
I want to
3,
play that
everybody's
one.
favorite cel-shaded open-world looter shooter. Gearbox has done a great job supporting the game with a mess of story-driven DLCs, and they've got another one in the works. Our
Man.
very own Mark Medina
I haven't
talked with the
finished
developer about Bounty
the
of Blood.
base
Let's see what he
Borderlands
found
story. I
out.
need to get on that. There's just too
Well,
many video games, man.
Yep.
I mean, I beat, like, for instance, BioShock Infinite, but I haven't played
Borderlands 3 came out back in September of
I mean, I played
2019, and
BioShock
we're
1, but I haven't
already
beaten
on
it.
its third DLC pack, Bounty of Blood. I'm here with Matt Cox to tell us all about it. Hello, Matt.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Let's just jump right in. Why is this the DLC to check out if somebody missed the first two?
Well, Bounty of Blood offers so much in the way of new gameplay objects and a new vehicle called the Jet Beast, and of course a ton of new enemies to explore. But I'm very excited about the story, and the story is a simple story of revenge and redemption set on a very brutal planet called Gehenna. But there's a lot to offer, from answering the sheriff's bounty to take on the Devil Riders, which are our main enemies that have tamed the wild beasts that this company has experimented on. And so our mission is to take down the Devil Riders using these new gameplay objects and by any means necessary.
So, Bounty of Blood offers a level boost if you are just starting the game for the first time. How exactly is that going to work?
It's pretty wonderful. So if you are not as far into Borderlands 3, the campaign, to be able to access Sanctuary, the ship, and be able to actually travel to different planets, we have a new feature that allows you to start a character right at that point in the story, so you don't have to worry about how much you've completed so far in the game, and you can jump into Bounty of Blood or any other story DLC.
Oh, awesome.
It's pretty cool.
So it's like it helps you get in.
Totally didn't realize my mic was muted. I'm not repeating all
We're
that.
in a Western now. We're in a Western setting. What's it like to
Nope,
on this
forget it.
planet, travel around and meet these new
Essentially, I was saying that I have the
Gehenna,
DLC, and I'm going to be eventually play it, and it's hard to play all the games because there are too many. But I was also saying that it was really cool that you can kind of jump into that part of the game.
Yeah, definitely, without having to play through the beginning of the game again.
Which is also cool if you're trying to do a second character before the DLC, you know?
The Devil Rider
Yeah.
gang has learned how to tame them. So
That's something I did in when I was playing Destiny. If my character wasn't there, I would make a new one
also, while you're on the frontier, the player has
to try out some
a vehicle
stuff.
called the Jet Beast, which is kind of like half jet bike, half creature, and with some mounted weaponry that's pretty badass. So you have these dual machine guns, but if you are able to hijack some enemy jet beasts, you can get a new weapon like a cannon shooter. That's
Oh, wow.
exactly what it's called. Cannon shooter. Like it's
This
a
whole
cannon.
jaw opens.
And then there's also
That's what
this
we call 'em.
mortar.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, exactly. Except that is the technical ship name of that gun. But there's also a mortar launcher you can find for the jet beast.
So you have to get back into Borderlands.
Like, it would probably remind you
I still gotta
of,
play the first two DLCs.
typical Western
Same.
frontier,
So,
but there's
you know, you
influences
help me
from
beat
all
the
over the
original
world. But
one,
then
and
we
we'll jump
travel
right
to
in.
some very
Might stream it. I don't know.
locations. A lot
what
of
do you
it,
say? I'm feeling cute. Might
we're not
stream.
gonna spoil too much. There's a lot of mysteries, and Bounty of Blood actually is a self-contained story. The only characters that we're familiar with in this are the Vault Hunters themselves. So every single
That's cool though. That
in this DLC.
I mean, even then, he was saying that you don't actually have to play the
How
other two
much
because
does
you're
a DLC like this, when you think about
you're
bounties, how much does it
the only people
offer
that you're
to be
playing
able to
with are the bounty hunters.
sprinkle in, like,
It's the other
weekly
characters
or
aren't,
maybe even daily
I guess,
challenges where it's
around
like,
in
hey,
that
we need
sense.
you guys to gather a team
Yeah.
and you know, here's the bounty and like go get this person. There's already a lot of that in Borderlands 3. Does this DLC just add to that?
Well, this is
Good
more
question.
of a traditional campaign DLC where everything is already packaged into it, as opposed to like weekly events that our live team works really hard and does an amazing job with, like with takedowns and all of those events. This being a campaign DLC, we do have essentially other bounties for special,
They have
high-ranking
boost
Devil
jets.
Riders
Okay.
that you can. And the cool thing about the challenges within a Bounty of Blood is that they change the town in some way. So
Mhm.
if you go do a creature challenge, you'll actually see we have a tannery where you'll see that hide displayed as kind of your trophy. And we also
I like
have
that some of the
a
bandits
theater challenge.
are
We have
wearing
theater in our town
cowboy
investment.
hats.
So we have the
Yeah.
frontier planet, the blast or
Looks
part of the
cool.
planet which is called the
You know,
blast
change it
planet,
up a
and
little
then
bit.
we have the town which is called Vestige. And the town
Pulled out the
has
rocket
been
launcher
overrun
to
by the
start
Borderlands, and
reloading
that's
it,
why the sheriff
and
has
then put it
issued
away
a bounty.
before
But if you
he
do certain
reloaded it.
challenges and things for the town, it
Maybe he was
changes
like
the bounty
it was
that
taking
way.
too
So
long.
this theater challenge, you can find these lost
I've done
film
that before. Like I've
theaters
accidentally switched
all
to a sniper
across
rifle, and I'm
the
like, crap,
DLC, and every
it's
time
taking too
Yeah.
long.
you find a lost film reel, you can go back into the theater in Vestige and see part of the film play out. And if you
Oh,
complete one
I
of
didn't
these
realize he was
challenges, you can
alting.
watch a
I was
small
like,
film.
did he just perform a finishing move on that guy?
Okay. So I think
That
everybody's
would have
going
been
to want
crazy.
to know loot. So
you bet.
Obviously westerns. We got long rifles. We got cool pistols. All this. Like, what can we expect from
Revolver. Come on,
this
dude.
like new western themed DLC?
Oh yeah, so you're gonna get a bunch of new loot, some cool new legendary guns, as you would expect from any sort of
Mhm.
DLC drop from Gearbox and Borderlands. But yeah, we do have pistols. You can't have a Western without pistols, but not all the new loot that you find will be pistols. We have
They're
some crazy
they're not
stuff.
all sharpshooters.
I'm for it.
Yeah,
I'm for it.
right. We have
Again, just
something called a bubble blaster that
I'm
is
enjoying
Yeah,
the
that does look
Borderlands
pretty
a
cool.
3.
certain side mission that has high
The
damage
shooting
from
feels
the
much
bubbles.
better than the other
So we
two.
go
The little
crazy
tweaks that
and
they've
weird
done
with some of the new things you find,
to
but
make
we
things a
also
little less
have
bullet spongy.
particular Torg weapons,
And
which is gyro
I
jets
Yeah.
like a lot of the
that spawns on
guns.
enemies as it passes through them.
I think the writing isn't all
Why
that
not?
great.
No,
Although
I'm a big
I
yeah.
haven't played any
I'm
of
a
the
big
DLC, so I
fan
don't know
of
if
collecting
it
skins,
improves
and
from
so I
from
would
that point.
assume that this DLC is going to
But
come with
it's still
all sorts of
fun,
fun cowboy
especially playing with
themed
other people.
skins. I would
So
hope.
yeah, I'm
You
looking
can
forward
expect to have a very
jumping
Bounty
in
of
there.
Blood themed skin pack for
Yeah,
Revolver.
that's always the case with
Okay, so
Borderlands. It's almost
what
always
is
a game
the
where
one thing that you're
it's a
most
lot
excited
better with
for
friends.
people to see without spoiling
Yeah,
anything?
it's kind of made
What is
that
like the
to be
one
that
thing
way,
that you're
right?
like, man, I
Yeah.
really can't wait for people to see this?
I mean, you can play solo, but it's not.
Man, that's like saying pick one of
It's
your
not
5 children
really.
and tell me why they are the best.
It's much better or more. They
So
want you to jump in there
we've
with a
talked
group.
about the town. That's cool.
Yeah.
Rose and Juno are our allies. The brand new characters that anchor our
Storm
DLC.
Scourge.
Juno is a rough and tumble brawler with a checkered past, and Rose is our guide and an ally. So I'm excited about them. Town changes are great. Jet Beast new vehicle, also incredibly fun. But I would say it's tied between our new gameplay objects that are a little bit of a Metroidvania ingredient into what we're doing with Bounty of Blood, as well
Sounds
as
good.
the narrator. We haven't talked about the narrator yet. So this is new for Borderlands. We actually have a character that's vocal only. We'll never see him, but he comments on the events, whether it's story or context to objectives. So we actually have a narrator character that is following us, telling us about the story as we're playing it. So that's really cool. But I'm a gameplay person at heart, so I'm a Nintendo head. Honestly, I grew up playing a bunch of Mario and Zelda, and I still do
There
with
you
my
go,
kids.
Nintendo
So
head.
gameplay is where a lot of my heart lies. So we have a Trader Weed, a Core Exploder, a Breezer, and a Telezapper. And we unlock these new gameplay objects as you play through the story. And so the Trader Weed, when you find it, it turns enemies to your side. A Core Exploder is a big rock type of plant made of core, and core is the element that everybody's excited about on this planet, trying to mine for core. But Core Exploder, you melee it, and it shotguns out high damage shrapnel. So, and then a Breezer is kind of like a jump pad. It helps you soar into the air. And then our Telezapper is essentially a teleporter. But how we've used these in challenges and some side missions, and even in the main story missions, it's probably my favorite part. Our team did a great job embracing kind of throwing a little bit of a Metroidvania gameplay element into our story.
That
No
sounds like a lot.
platforming. We don't need
Sounds like a lot. I'm
platforming
not gonna lie.
in a first-person shooter.
So did I
Just stop it.
I chose the one thing, right?
I mean, Destiny does a lot of that.
Yeah.
Jump
Destiny,
puzzles.
Destiny's
Blood
handled a
and
little bit
Fistful of
better,
Redemption.
and even they
It's coming
are
out.
trash sometimes.
It is coming out very
Yeah.
soon. Everybody will be able
Some
to
of
play
the
Young Blood on June 25th.
more difficult
It's not soon
jumping.
enough, but Will.
It's
Will,
like
with
ah.
that, thank you so much for joining us and telling us
very
about
welcome.
the new DLC.
Because like good platforming, you don't have to look down when you're jumping.
Yeah,
Coming
you just
up,
know the
IGN Summer of
distance.
Gaming Expo continues with even more new games and reveals. You can follow us on TikTok, send us a yappa, donate, sound off in the comments below, make noise in the chat, whisper softly in our ears. I don't know. You know the drill. When we come back, we'll be exploring the Waylands, so stay tuned.
Alright, they're actually going to show off the Waylanders. I was interested in how the gameplay was. I know it was going to be turn-based. I knew it was going to be party in the sense that you control a bunch of characters, but I wasn't sure
Yeah.
exactly how it would play, because the trailers and stuff that they shown was there's this thing with trailers when they show just the climactic parts where like everything is happening as opposed to the moment to moment, clicky clicky stuff. And so
Yeah.
like looking at that, I'm like, okay, that's cool, but how do you actually play? Like, I don't know if this is a summon or like a, I don't want to say cinematic, but like a, like a scripted thing. Like, how is it do you normally play? So that's
Yeah, I
something
gotcha.
I want to check out, because that's actually, I want to say it's coming out soon, or at the very least coming to early access soon.
I mean, the way it feels with most games, early access is the game.
To an extent. I mean, it depends on how far they are when they release it to early access. If they're closer to the end, like some of the more major ones that we had, it's then it's like, yeah, that's the game. But if it's something like Deep Rock, I mean, that took, I think it was 2 years before it came out, and
Yeah.
then and
The
that
game's really different now compared to what it was.
right, and then we have, at least on a in terms of progression, and then we have games that are in early access for like ever, um, or are billed as such because they don't want to necessarily finish, and like Fortnite. So yeah, it's weird. That said, there's a possibility that it's one of those games where early access is just kind of tweak the stuff, but we need a little bit more money, and once we're done, we're good. I think what game was that? I can't think of it, but there's been a few early access games that I played. They were only in early access a short time. They actually did improve, and we got a solid game after. There's been some.
Yeah, it's just not anywhere near as much as it should be.
Oh no, because of course people abuse it, just like Kickstarter.
The BALE Project and World
Yeah.
Health Organization by clicking on the links in the description
Which is,
below.
do we even
to help
see that
combat COVID-19
too
in the
much
United
anymore with games?
Kickstarter? Nah, it looks like that
Sydney,
just
Sydney,
died.
Sydney. As the
So many
sun
people probably
sets
took advantage
and
of it
the
and
day
probably
turns to night,
killed that
I often lay alone in
that
my
that way of
quarters,
that
candlelight
type of source
flickering
funding.
around me while I
Because I know it's like,
wistfully dream of a simpler
there's a couple
time
that
when
I saw hit
classical
my,
party-based
like I got
role-playing
PR
games were
or press
bountiful
releases
and aplenty. And
sent
then
about them, but for the
I
most part, yeah, I
remember
haven't
the
heard a whole
upcoming
lot.
classical party-based
Then again, I'm not
role-playing
hunting it
game,
either.
The Waylanders.
Yeah.
And all is right in the world. Huzzah, forsooth! So, so keep those donations coming, but also let's take a look at the Waylanders.
She has been hilarious the whole time.
Steps on Kickstarter back in 2018 and has been steadily picking up steam ever since. I recently got to check out an alpha build of the game ahead of its early access launch to explore its fantastical take on the Celtic Age. And yes, that means it is still very much a work in progress. Bugs are still being discovered and weeded out, in-engine cutscenes and conversations still lack animations or lip-syncing, and plenty of items and abilities lack descriptions. But this early access version gives us a good look at what to expect from
Wow,
this
this super
ambitious
early.
and promising RPG.
Yeah.
The Waylanders is a unique blend of historical fiction and mythic fantasy, set in the ancient real-world region.
Is it already out in early access?
Overflowing with supernatural magic.
I thought it was coming to
Written
early
by veterans
access.
of games like Telltale's The Walking Dead and Fallout New Vegas, its story revolves around what happens when some of that magic becomes corrupted.
Okay, yeah, it is
and how
coming.
our choices in light of that ripple across history.
June 16th,
and
yeah.
while we'll see the
Okay, so 6
consequences
days.
of those
So it's, yeah, it's basically here.
back again, the early access build is primarily focused on the first Celtic Age segment of the game. Combat, which mechanically feels like the most fleshed out aspect of the build at this stage, is a comfortable take on the classic active pause RPG formula. You've got a party made up of your archetypal warrior, tank, mage, or healer classes that evolve with new attacks, abilities, and subclasses as you level up, but there are a couple of interesting twists. First and foremost is the Waylanders' formations mechanic, which allows characters to rally other party members into a tight group to perform unique class-based maneuvers against enemies. These can range from historically inspired arrangements like a classical greasing phalanx to the mythical sorcerer's conclave, which transforms them into an arcane siege tower. And selecting which characters in your party are part of a given formation provides an extra layer of strategy too.
Oh.
The more members in a formation, the more damage it can deal or absorb before breaking, but pooling everyone into one big group drastically limits your options. Perhaps instead of channeling the entire party's energy into a magical golem that will stomp all over its foes, you can opt to put 3 of your 5 total party members into the Guardian Shield Dome to provide cover as your 2 spellcasters bombard the enemy from a distance. It's a really flexible system that seems ripe for endless customization and tinkering for you tacticians out there. And that goes for the Waylanders' configurable AI as well, which allows you to toggle back your party members' behavior to only take actions you command, or, for those of you who prefer a more casual experience, crank it up so that they'll basically take care of themselves when you want to focus on playing as one character instead of all 5. The other notable tweak to the classic RPG style, and this goes for exploration as well as combat, is the Waylanders' dedication to making the experience just as enjoyable for players who prefer a third-person perspective as those who want the classic isometric RPG experience. Quickly swapping from a top-down or three-quarter perspective to a third-person follow cam with the push of a button is a great quality-of-life innovation, and something I'd like to see other modern takes on the old-school RPG adopt. And while it's still a bit more cumbersome than a traditional third-person camera, it's still the best execution of the idea I've seen in a genre that's never really managed to get past the really, really zoomed-in ISO cam feel. The option to experience the world from ground level instead of the traditional eye in the sky is something
I'm still a little confused on the fighting, but it does look cool.
So far has been beautiful.
Yeah, it does seem a little complicated.
And not necessarily in a bad way, just like I need to play the tutorial.
Yeah.
Mess around with it a little bit.
Fascinating mix of old world influence and creative, colorful designs. Blue-skinned humanoid sorcerers with golden metallic eyes sit across the table from Greek adventures.
Yeah, it's still it does have a EverQuest, the newer versions of EverQuest vibe in terms of just smoothing and such.
The Waylanders looks to be an engaging take on the Celtic mythos, which rarely gets a spotlight in media as it is, and I'm intrigued to see where it ends up once it hits final release. Gato Studios is clearly invested in creating an experience alongside its community, and with a fresh take on RPG systems and its unique world, we'll gladly keep checking back throughout early access to see how it's shaping up.
Up next on Check Out This Game, we're giving you an early look at the Riftbreaker, a wild mix of an action RPG, an RTS-style base builder, and a tower defense game. Take a look at some exclusive gameplay from its fiery lava environment.
Okay, Riftbreaker looks kinda dope. Man, I could see it killing your PC though if you don't have it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have it situated properly. Like that's, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on screen.
But I like it. I like the mech and the tower defense stuff. Oh, did he just die? Was that supposed to happen? Okay. As an RTS fan, this is, you know, pretty sweet looking to me. But then I tower defense as well, so this looks like a pretty. It looks, yeah, it looks cool.
The Sony event is tomorrow?
Yeah, I said that. It's June 11th.
I don't just can't remember.
Like what you see, then head on over to IGN.
Probably won't be able to.
YouTube.com/IGN
They'll probably have to catch it
watch the full
after.
extended version of this gameplay.
Wall destroyed. Base is under attack.
Why'd I do that?
Base is under attack. That was Tom Marks with some info on survival.
Yeah, that was
games, the Riftbreaker. Wait, you're still here?
the issue with
it's
not being
time
full-time
to
writing.
GTFO.
It's
That's not
hard to
me
catch
being
some of these
rude or
things.
kicking you
You
out.
know,
That's
when it was
actually
normal
a video
E3.
game name that I'm going to tell you about
yeah.
right now.
'Cause during the week,
GTFO is
you
a
know.
survival horror first-person shooter that teaches you and three friends a valuable lesson about friendship as the four of you blast the crap out of a bunch of unthinkable horrors while exploring the depths of a creepy facility. Video games. Aren't they great?
Oh, this sounds cool. Oh, right. It's GTFO. I forgot.
Yeah, that game rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, well, we did play kind of early. However, I do like the tactical side of it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed working as a team, using your abilities to kind of get where you need to go. And it being difficult. I like the fact that it was difficult. It proved a decent challenge. It was different. It's not just like, Left 4 Dead or in that. And not to say that I mean I loved Left 4 Dead, but they were going for something where you really had to work together in a different type of way. Actually, I think I want to get it now. I mean, we played the early version, and they're updating it as constantly, being that it's in early access. I think I wanna try again.
Still a bit pricey, $34.99.
Yeah, for for early access, I totally get that. I might see if they are willing to part with some codes. Definitely down to stream it. Or to write a nice preview. And I'm not nice as in like just glorify it, but nice as in well written, and just kind of be like, because we don't review early access. I just think that's
that's not fair.
Oh, that dude's freaky looking. Well, all of them are freaky looking, but he's extra freaky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you want to wake up next to any of them.
No. Nope. I don't know what they did to have to be forced to come down here, but oh, you can cover a whole door now? That would have been mad beneficial when
we played.
Yeah. Cause that wherever that gun is called, it's really sucked. I mean, it did. Like it covers some of their legs and it would stop them from running at you sometimes, but as far as like really cutting off an area or using it to protect yourself, it didn't do too well. I'm like, what are you waiting for? Why did you run all the way up there just to wait? So I'm gonna go see if they still coming. Oh my gosh!
See, there's some people that will never say those words. Want to see if they're still coming? No. No. Did you see what he was when he was running at you? No,
Yeah.
you don't wait.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, man. All his partners in the back, like, yeah, you go check it out. It does, and granted, this is just, you know, obviously this is, I don't want to say scripted, but scripted. It doesn't seem as super hard as it was before. Like, they're not being overwhelmed, at least not yet. Like with us, it was like the first few minutes, if you went super loud, it was possible to everyone to die.
Yeah.
This looks more manageable. Oh, looks like they're about to go down now. I blame that one guy for waiting. Oh, so free for everyone who owns the, I guess, the base game. They get the update. I mean, they should. It's early access. Oh, that's just not right.
Is that a boss?
That's what it looked like.
You can never go wrong with bosses.
I mean, you can. You can go horribly wrong with bosses. Super, super wrong. On Steam, June 11th. Another free update.
Believe it or not, this is still just the first of 4 IGN Expos we put together as part of the IGN Summer of Gaming. Collect them all! And it's not over yet, so don't forget to check us out tomorrow for Expo number 2, plus another charity speedrun and Sony's
are they done
State
for
of Play
today?
conference, where I think they're going to talk about a small system called the PlayStation 5. Finally!
That would be nice. And don't forget, all summer long, IGN is asking you to give to the World Health Organization and Bail Project charities. The World Health Organization's COVID-19 Response Fund is dedicated
Shoot, I
to
might have to
studying,
record that
tracking,
myself.
and combating the coronavirus pandemic. Maybe
Depending
you've
on what
heard of it.
time.
The Bail Project is a nonprofit that pays bail
If we
for
do
people
it.
in need, reuniting families, and
Yeah.
restoring the presumption of innocence. Both good causes.
Not
Yes,
only that, but
we
by
still have to
donating,
work
you'll
and
have
all
a
that
chance
good
to win
stuff.
codes for games like Resident Evil 3 and swag
Yeah,
from companies like Bethesda,
we
so be sure
do.
to check out the donation links in the description of the video player or go to donate.ign.com.
I mean, it could be worse. We could be
for
out
more
of work.
information on how and where to give.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, we are
Yeah,
exploring
I guess I can't
Mortal
complain.
Shell, the debut
That-
game
yeah,
from Pulse
exactly.
Symmetry.
You can't.
This is an action RPG with tense, deliberate combat
Or
and
I
punishing
can't
enemies
complain
set in a
loudly.
terrifying hellscape for players
Yeah.
to
Rid of my head,
explore
I'm
at
saying
their
some
own
things.
risk. We've got an exclusive trailer followed by your first look at gameplay, complete with developer commentary. And if you like Souls-like games as much as we do, you will not want to miss this.
I do.
You know, I like some Souls games. Not all. Not all. They're not created equal. And yeah.
Definitely true. Some of them are definitely harder than others.
You must find his
The thing with a lot of them is after a while, depending on the person, after a while they do tend to get significantly easier.
For me, I don't know, I like Sekiro. I like that.
Yeah.
And I liked the one that's multiplayer, three players with guns and such. I forgot the name of it.
Neo?
No, that's not multiplayer, or and they don't have
Neo
guns.
is.
They don't have guns. No, this is
They don't
all
have guns, though. Oh, Remnant Ashes.
from
Sunken
Ashes. Yeah,
Remnant from Ashes. Yes.
that game I like a lot. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm trying to get through Bloodborne. I know I'm late on that, but I just don't understand what people
Mortal
like about
Shell
it.
is an action RPG announced earlier this year that has fans of a certain notoriously difficult game very excited. Right now, I'm joined by the fine gentleman from developer Cold Symmetry. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey,
Hi there.
great to see you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thanks
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
This game looks awesome. People are really stoked about it. Let's start with the shells from the title. What are these shells?
It looks good though.
The shells
Definitely.
are the playable characters in the game. Through inhabiting them, you learn more about who they were. You get in touch with their abilities. But first, you must learn their names.
Okay,
Indeed,
so-
yeah. And what you see on the screen is Harris, which is one of the first shells you actually acquire. And yeah, just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, and you know, oh,
no, go ahead.
Their abilities, they're really each of their abilities are tied in with their storyline. So you might have someone who is an executioner and someone who is a poisoner, and so you'll get to as you get to know who they were when you unlock their storyline. You see here that we're learning who this shell was, what their name was, and each time you unlock a little bit more about their history, you acquire one of their abilities as well.
So, how many
So do you play
shells
as
are
them,
there,
or you just
do
get
know
abilities
yet?
from them?
It sounds
I'm
like
kind
they're
of
going to be
confused.
providing different types of play styles.
It looks like you
there are 4 unique morph
play
skills
as them.
that you
Got
can,
it.
That's what I understood from it.
discover if you can find them.
Indeed, yeah, and indeed they do provide different play styles. And as a matter of fact, each shell might even kind of feel like a different game depending on if you really fully utilize their combat potential, right? Like one shell, for example, when it comes to dodges and rolls, can only roll a certain way. Another shell can only execute a dodge in a certain way. And as Andrew already mentioned, as you discover the abilities, and as you learn more about their past in terms of their lore and history, you will also see how each of those abilities really tied in together and in the one specific theme that one shell represent. And the more you uncover, the more you learn what their strong side really is.
So you mentioned if you can find all these shells, are they sort of doled out throughout the entirety of the game, or is it possible to get all 4 of them near the beginning of the game so you can use them throughout the entire game?
They're hidden throughout the world. It is close to the beginning, so that you can so that you'll be able to kind of choose one which suits your play style the best fairly early on, but you will have to kind of scour that initial area for them.
Gotcha. Now, in the announcement trailer that was released earlier this year, it looks like there was a scene where we saw the player get knocked out of a shell. Is that something that can happen during combat?
Yeah, that's what happens when your HP reaches 0. You get knocked out of your shell. You're put into this more vulnerable state. It can kind of have tactical advantages, but the big disadvantage is that you only have 1 HP when you're in that state. So you have to be super careful. Yeah, you can get back into the shell a limited number of times, but yeah, you've got to really manage your HP, manage your stamina, and kind of explore all the tactics there.
But if you're really hardcore, you can actually even like play through the game without any shells at all. Like if you really want a challenge, so that's always an option.
Yeah, in fact, there's like a secret spot.
I just don't live for challenge. Like I like challenge.
players
Don't get me wrong, but I like story. I like character. I like
officially within the game's
cool
lore, obviously.
combat
You renounce the
mechanics, gameplay
bonding with all
mechanics.
the shells. It even changes your skin, and it kind of like, all right,
thematic
it's on now.
stuff.
You're gonna leave on the age, baby.
He just threw his head at
Yeah, you want more
These types of games
than
definitely
that
have
being the
those
only thing.
hardcore
Yeah,
players that are
like-
looking for a challenge. So that'll really be fun.
There's a
watching
ton of
people,
difficult,
try
like
to do like
just
a
things that are
no-shell
just
playthrough.
difficult in life. Like
Sure, yeah.
I don't need it to be super difficult all the
So you're
freaking
being
time.
upfront
Like
that this is a
I deal with
Souls-like
difficulty
game.
every day.
What made you
Yeah,
decide
man, like-
to make this kind of game?
And
I
again,
mean,
I'm not
I
saying
guess
I don't
for
want
us,
a
it was
challenge. I
never
don't
even
want
question what type of game we wanna do,
pushovers.
'cause we're all
I want
fans of these games.
a good
We enjoy
challenge.
playing them.
But
we
to make a
love
game
the
just to be like, this is
meaning
gonna be
and the
tough
philosophy
and
that they have
you're
inside
gonna
it,
cry at
so
night. Like I don't.
we
That's
just
okay.
wanted to do something that we would play ourselves, and hopefully other people will enjoy too.
I mean, the first
Yeah.
time I went over to Vitali's house, he had this LED screen on his fridge that was, yeah, I'm going there, which was rotating the armor sets, rotating the armor sets from Dark Souls 3. Like it was pictures of his pets or his kids or something. You know?
And then it's like it's Dark
right
Souls.
after that, we had a 2.5
like,
hour conversation.
how many Dark Souls are we gonna get? I mean, it's not even it's not the real Dark Souls, but it's like.
Oh wow.
Yeah, very very true.
Like I like Sekiro doing something a little different, or you know when From Software did something different. I feel like these are all chasing the same thing, and they aren't
those are fun games, but really the
changing enough to make it
like the overcoming sort of
really stand out.
Struggle, the journey that you go through, and how sort of like.
And granted, this is just
strengthening those
this is early on,
are.
so you know I can't say exactly, but that's how it sounds. Outside of the shells, the shell thing sounds cool.
As well. And you know everybody finds
it definitely really does.
Those kind of games, and now you know it's a genre that is here to stay, and we thought we have something to say in this realm as well, and we really think this is those kind of genre just more than that, just a game that really they're good for you.
So which of the Souls games were the biggest inspiration for you?
I would say it's probably different for each and every of us. Like we have a broad selections of games we like.
And I hate characters respawning.
Like for me personally, I really love the really old one called Blade of
Oh,
Darkness.
like you
it's maybe like
kill a monster, you save, and they're back.
But
yeah, it's just
looks
annoying.
Like the game you start with when you first try Souls like is your favorite normally for people. At least among us, so yeah.
It's like
I mean, I don't mind if you die. Like, okay, yeah, obviously you have to
like
redo that section, but
right? Like the first
having to constantly
I think for some of us, I think
fight the same monsters.
Dimitri, did you set what other games you said, like even before the Dark Souls?
Yeah, we were passionate for Dark
unless they're like Sekiro, because like you can one shot a lot of people, or you know stealth kill them, so it's not as bad.
Darkness for sure, and it was even.
But like I wouldn't want to fight. I mean, I don't think this guy's a boss. I wouldn't want to fight him multiple times if I have to run back through here.
It's a pretty deep mode.
It seems like there's a parry system though. Like just then, it looked like he parried and was able to get like a death blow.
I like you mentioned Quake. Like it's
I mean, a lot of the Dark Souls games you can do that also. Like get a good parry.
Like the world being
you know, you still have your backstabs there. Although the backstabs aren't always one-hit kills. It depends on a lot of factors.
Right.
It's still something that exists.
Same thing with Bloodborne. You can kind of counter attack with the gun.
In the original Souls, like you know, like the first Dark Souls and Demon Souls, that we really like that they're kind of like not really being sort of left forgotten today when it comes to like level design and some of the other elements that we thought it'd be really cool to take those ideas and evolve them into something new. Something that we were passionate about and felt confident that we can evolve.
But is it really new though? That's what I'm asking. Like we're evolving into something new. It's like, is it
the world?
I mean, I can see this if they were like,
what is this place? What
before we knew about it. If they said this was Dark Souls 4, I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, what exactly happened? And what we first tried to accomplish, we're gonna try not to spoil.
Yeah, the thing with like I said earlier, with new is there's only so much they could do in terms of
world
innovation now,
was, you know,
which is why I was saying that the other game, what was it called?
Like, well,
I forgot the name of it.
Internally,
the Doom,
the Doom
shooter.
Is this
Yeah.
That has almost
like Hellsteel
kind of like
something.
Yeah. And produced within
like that's actually just mixing those two genres or something. But with Dark Souls games, like I don't know what you could do with a Dark Souls game, a Dark Souls style game,
that the player's going to use to
that
you know
that can really make it
develop their combat ability
fresh.
But it's also what other
all you can really have is a different story, maybe a few different mechanics here, the way dodging works. Is there stamina? Is there no stamina?
But in general, like
things like that.
I mean, if you look at like for instance,
in the game, everybody's basically searching.
You can add multiplayer in a more meaningful way, like
not only you as the player, but
like we were just talking about the From Ashes game.
They're all in search for
that actually feels different, and it's with guns.
But, it's all about that basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like
what
it's not.
Tell us about this enemy that we're seeing.
It has more of an open world vibe, and there's.
Well, in general, when it comes to enemies, we try to approach it in a way where
some random elements there. Like there's a lot of. It's not so much that.
And one kind of important kind
you
of
can make a super unique game.
Also, obviously, has to be integrated in the
but
within. Like
you could make a game that was added elements that aren't new, but are new to that genre. You know, like
Well,
that's
you
how we
could
got
get
games
back
like
in the shell that
Borderlands.
fast?
Make a design for this one. We have a few
I don't think
different
he was out of his
versions to
shell, was he?
fulfill the style.
It looked like he
The main
was. Look,
idea
his
that
health
we
hit
have in
0,
mind
and he was out of his shell and just jumped right back in.
something wild, crazy
Hmm.
beast, something like
Unless I missed it, I don't know, but
huge, hungry bear on steroids. So and
I feel like this does look a
Yeah,
lot
because
like Dark
it's
Souls.
rare when you see a very well balanced
Yeah,
combination
like
of both
it's
power, like raw power,
and that's
and
not a
speed.
bad. I don't want to,
And it's hard
like
to
people
get
think
those
that
things
I
right.
said the
You
game is
know,
bad or anything. I
like
just think like
maybe Anthony can talk more about the animation side of things and combat
I just
depth,
feel
but
like once something is
Yeah,
popular,
because that
people
was
chase it,
like part of
and
the
it gets to the point
creation of
where
the
I'm like,
features. So like
I could just play
we
the
don't have any
original.
motion capture animation in game, so
And that's the. I mean,
everything
and
is
I'll
keyframed, and
say
we're
that
trying
like
to
there's
really
certain things
focus
where
and put like
someone makes a tweak to
exaggerated
something, like they make
accents in
their
the
own
right
version and
moment
they
to make
tweak
the
it
combat
so it
flow in
plays
the right
better, and
way.
I would
And
rather
same
play
not
that
not
version.
only for enemies, but for
I
player
totally
too.
see that happening,
So it fits
but
together by the end like a Lego
if we're gonna be like
pieces.
this is
But
an
we've
evolution
been tweaking
of a
timings a
genre,
lot, like frame
I
by
kind of
frame,
want it to
to
be.
make sure it works.
So
Yeah.
how big and how open is this world?
The world is,
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean,
this-
taking the studio size, we knew from the start that
It's
we
pretty
have
hard
to
to say that
focus
this
on the
isn't
quality rather than
like
quantity.
I kind
So
of agree. Where you
we
could
can
say
call
this
it
is Dark Souls
fairly
4 and it's
compact
believable.
experience, but when I say
Yeah, if
compact,
nobody knew what it was, you
I
just
still
showed a
mean
certain
it's like
scene.
deep enough to get lost in, and
It's
it's
like, yeah,
interesting enough to get lost in. And we have a lot of storytelling elements and pieces throughout the world, a lot of interesting places to explore where you can find some bits of story that like after that you can connect the dot together and figure out what exactly is happening in the area that you're in.
And the entire experience takes around 20 hours. I think that
oh,
you know,
that's
we tried to
cool.
keep every moment
That
meaningful. Like we're not going to
not
send you
super
around on
long.
quests trying to farm rats, right? Like
That's
we're
all. But then
we
again,
want-
there's 4
you know,
shells.
we
I mean,
don't
4
even really
different ways to play.
we don't really even tell you what to
So
do.
if you end
It's
up
kind of up
liking
to
the
you.
game, you'll probably want to
And
beat the game.
there's a lot to explore.
Hopefully,
You know,
I would
mentioned
hope
the
they
roots
wouldn't decide to
like
make it
earlier
super long
Souls
like that.
titles like Dark Souls 1, where we don't give you
True.
fast travel right away, right? So
'Cause if it was
you're-
too long,
and you've definitely got no mini maps.
like no matter how much you like the game, you're not playing through it again right away.
And then there's also the idea that it's
memorize
being
where you are in the
super
environment,
difficult. Like
you
I don't
know,
want to play through a
as a
long,
result, you
super
get to know
difficult
it
game.
super well.
That's right.
And like
you know, when it
the
comes
structure.
to, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I just want to say that the structure, like the way we build it, is like we have one big open area, and then the levels that connect to it, and you can choose where to go in any order. It doesn't matter, but we try to make it in a way that it always feels like an adventure, like a journey, where you have to commit before you go somewhere in some new area. It might be tricky for you, like you might find it difficult, so you might want to get back and like rebalance, like maybe choose another shell, pick another weapon, and try with that. But we try to make it look like every time you decide to go somewhere, it's a commitment and it's a adventure and journey that you have to experience yourself.
You're probably going to suffer. You know, you you're going to have to have the fortitude to overcome like that lost feeling that you have in the beginning. But I think once you do, you're going to feel really good about not just about the game but about yourself too. And I think that we all have gone through kind of similar metamorphosis through playing similar titles that we felt like, you know, they were really meaningful to us personally.
Right. Now, getting back to the announcement trailer from a few weeks ago,
And
did
again,
the voiceover guy in the announcement trailer actually say,
we're not,
what did he
you
say,
know,
bring the glands back to me? The glands?
again, we're talking over them.
Yeah.
It's because we assume you already watched.
What's that all about?
So just throwing that out there if you're still
The
you're still
sacred
with
glands,
us.
Kelly mentioned them earlier.
Yeah,
they're really critical to the plot of Mortal Shell.
I'll just say it's just not for me.
You know, where
there's things that I like about it, elements that I like. Like I said, I like.
You know, I kind of getting into spoilers here, so you're gonna have to.
The game I was saying with there's 3 players or whatever. I really like that game. There's things that it does that these other games don't do.
Who was
and
the woman in the mask?
Yeah, I just.
That's Sester Janetza.
I guess it's kind of like when people are like, you know, this is another Call of Duty clone. It's like, oh gosh, roll your eyes.
She offers you the juice to drink.
It's kind of like that for me. Like, oh, is
what helps
this is
you,
another Dark
bond with
Souls.
your
You know, we
shell,
have
kind of get
multiple
to know them
Dark
better,
Souls like
unlock their
games,
abilities.
2D Dark Souls like
You know,
games.
like I mentioned earlier, all the Shell's abilities
you know,
are tied in with their
roguelike
stories,
games,
so
whatever.
that's
It's
something that we do that's pretty cool.
And you want to have a lot because you want to have something that you like. Like, you know, there's Mario and there's other platformers. You know, well, there was Sonic, but you know, Sonic and Crash and all that other stuff. So you want
Yeah, well, we're
other
excited
games.
to share
But I
that with
feel
you when
like
it's time.
Well, you
they
guys,
weren't
Mortal Shell is
emulating
looking awesome. I know our
Mario.
audience is super excited for it. Before we go, real quick, I believe you have a
It was
special
like it was like
announcement for
Mario,
the fans
Mario
that you can
B,
make.
Mario C. It was
Yeah,
they
we'll
were
be
different
starting the
enough.
beta on July 3rd, and you'll be playing the Crypt of Martyrs. Come and join us in the Discord and see what it's all about.
Very cool. What platform would
Well,
that
I will
beta
be
be on?
watching you play that.
It'll be on PC.
I will let you handle
Well,
that.
guys,
I'm not
joining me today.
unless they show something like really amazing. I'm like,
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Great, thanks a lot.
I'll take care of it.
Before we go, let's take one
I'm
more
like-
look at that kick-ass new trailer for Mortal Shell.
I'm like, I don't want to grind my teeth into dust trying to play this game.
Deserve absolution. Yet still I seek it.
You must find his name.
Man. But yeah, it totally looks cool. It definitely looks. It looks dope. It looks dope. Yo, this is Sparta kick was awesome.
It wasn't like he was at the edge either. He kicked him.
Yeah.
Like he flew.
PlayStation, Xbox, PC.
Join Discord for beta access. Okay. Let's go. Mortal Shell.
Well, holy moly, Mortal Shell looks freaking awesome. Might as well end on a high note. We are about done here, but up next is today's edition of News, Games, and More. Well, we will be revealing more exclusive trailers from Arcade 1-Up.
The summer of gaming still has plenty of excitement in store, though. 3 more.
Oh wait, we gotta look at the
reveals,
arcade
more
1-up
charity
announcement, and then we're
speedruns, our
done.
Celebrity Animal Crossing Island tour
Because
stream
the
on
arcade
June
1-ups are
16th,
pretty
Sony
awesome.
State of Play stream tomorrow.
And maybe the what if it's a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet, then I guess I'm gonna waste money.
Download the TikTok app, follow IGN, and check
I
out
don't
hashtag IGN
I thought they already
Summer
had one of
Gaming.
those,
Watch
right?
along
Didn't they
with
have
live
a
events,
Not
and
two.
submit your
They have a
own
Marvel
Summer
vs.
of Gaming
Capcom 1.
moments, reactions,
Marvel
and
vs.
plays.
Capcom 2
Plus,
cabinets
donate,
are
TikTok,
rare.
watch, get your Summer of Gaming
Very
however you
rare.
want to. We asked you to do so many things.
That would be
I
awesome.
hope you're not too tired.
Because if
Just
I'm not
try and do some of
mistaken,
them.
even
We recommend drawing the blinds first
Brandon
and just
never
having
had
a
one.
great
Not,
week.
you know which
Right,
Brandon.
right, right, right,
And
right.
that is all for IGN
Even he
Expo
never
number
had one.
folks. Thank you for donating and thank you for watching. We are
They're
going to end
super
on
rare.
one more surprise. Yet another world premiere trailer for a
Because they
game
use
you
a
didn't
different
even
type
know
of
you
board
wanted yet.
in order
Enjoy.
to make that game work. And like the only way to play it on like PC would be using like a Dreamcast emulator or something like that. You can't get like a MAME ROM of it. It just doesn't exist
Hmm.
for anybody that for anybody that
Anybody that cares. It's but
for
was
anybody that does like ROMs and things like that.
right. What's cool about the arcade thing is that they also have multiple games. They never just release one game. It's usually like 3 games or 4 in a bundle, in the little arcade machine. So if they do Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I'm curious what else they'll put on it.
If you do Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I will drop that money right now. Actually, my computer is already preset. My fingers are on the home row. ASDF, JKL semi.
You are definitely the target audience.
I might kill someone. I might kill someone for it.
In game, he means in game, folks.
Yeah.
This game looks weird. It's
My
I don't know
stream
what this.
actually froze for a second.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, but I see it now.
It's Void Train. That's an apt title based on what they just showed. I'm
This actually
curious.
looks pretty cool.
I'm curious.
Why does that look more interesting to me than the Dark Souls? Although I did already sign up for the beta.
You know exactly why it looks more interesting, because it doesn't look like the same thing we've seen so many times. Like seriously, there's a reason why you play Dead Cells a lot versus some of the other ones, because Dead Cells has its own thing going on. It's still thematically the same, and it still has some elements that are similar to other roguelikes, but it's not. It stands out.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how many press release I get for games that have certain catch or buzz phrases that I'm like, I just don't want to do this.
I just don't.
Yeah, that's my whole vibe when I see them. It's like, especially with procedurally generated levels, that's been a thing that has been run into the ground and then shot. Um, it's like every game has to have that, and I'm like, no, no.
It is very good to have structure sometimes.
A lot of the time, let's be real. It's yeah. I mean, cause even with Dead Cells, only certain things are randomized. They have a structure to them to where certain things are gonna happen in certain maps. Period. Like these are gonna be here. This is gonna be there, and then we'll randomize these elements. And so what you get is best of both worlds type thing.
Yeah. Like I know basically if I go a certain path, I know exactly how many. I know like 90% positive how many upgrades I would get, and what are the chances of me getting those upgrades. There'll be a surprise sometimes, like, ooh, got an extra one, or
Right.
aw, they took one away from me. But
Right.
it's just yeah. So they happen to hit a good balance, because you always know, okay, I'm gonna go through here. I know I'm gonna aim for this boss. I'm gonna aim for this boss. I'm gonna aim for this boss, and that's so yeah. I do like the way they have it, where it is procedurally generated the way the map is, but you can always tell where you're gonna go.
Yeah. Right.
That's why I love that game.
Hey everyone, welcome to News, Games, and More, the show where we break down.
Oh, they have
the
said
biggest
there's only
headlines
like
of the
2 more
day.
updates.
Lots
and
to digest
and
today.
They're
Special exclusive
kind of
trailer,
ending
the
support
day's
for it.
biggest reveals from IGN
Yeah.
Expo. Plus, we've got an exclusive
So
one-on-one
this
interview
part, we're
with
just trying to
David
see if
Hayter,
they're gonna
the
show
voice
the
of Solid
arcade
Snake.
one up.
Before we get started, a couple of things.
Because the summer
First,
thing is
all summer
over, I
gaming
believe.
long, IGN is asking you to donate to the BAIL Project and the World Health
And so,
Organization.
but I saw that they
Clicking
were
on the
doing that,
links
so I
in
want
the
to kind of check
description
that out
of the
before
video
we
player,
go
or by
to
heading
see
to
what it is, because this is supposed to be a big reveal
donation.ign.com.
and blah blah
The BAIL
blah.
Project is a nonprofit
And
that pays
I'm
bail
for
to
it,
people in
because like I
need,
said, those arcade
immunizing
machines are
families,
pretty
and
great.
restoring the
So we're
presumption
gonna
of
stay on a
innocence
little
in
bit
support
longer.
of
Hopefully
Black
they don't.
lives matter.
If they start going
The
over
COVID-19
a bunch
Response
of
Fund
news
is
that
dedicated
has
to
nothing to do with
studying,
that, then
tracking,
we'll
and
kind of,
combating the coronavirus
we'll kind of
pandemic.
sign out here. But
By donating, you'll have a chance to win codes for games like Resident
yeah, I
Evil
want to
3
check it out.
and swag
I
from
want to check it
companies
out.
like Bethesda. Anyone who gives more than $50
But
Especially
they
the
still
will also
have
a shot
the
at
sorry,
winning
they
a
still have
Summer of
the
Gaming
Marvel
custom
superheroes
Xbox
arcade
One X.
cabinet.
Very cool. Up at the top of the screen, you
Yes,
can see our
yes.
donation ticker. We would love to see that get to $6,500.
What came with that one? It was it X-Men
the end
and
of the
then
show.
like Children of the Atom, the Marvel versus X-Men,
We've already generated
and then Marvel vs. Capcom.
No, it was just the Marvel superheroes game.
Oh, that's it?
Being our top
Yeah, that's the one with
$400.
the Infinity Gems fall from the sky.
You can also download the
Right.
TikTok
No,
app,
I know which
follow
game.
IGN,
I was just
Oh
saying.
no! Actually, no. Sorry, I messed up. So it's Marvel superheroes, X-Men: Children of the Atom, and for some reason the Punisher.
in the comments section of this video.
Okay, yeah, that I don't know why that's there, but yeah, I knew it was 3 games. I remember it being 3 games.
Exciting of all, we're going to kick the show off today with
What does
a
Mortal
special
Kombat
trailer
have?
from
The Mortal
Arcade
Kombat
1-Up.
cabinets
Let's
go
take
as
a
Mortal
look at the
Kombat 1,
latest
2, and
retro
3.
arcade cabinets and
Yeah, that was
pinball
solid.
machine.
All right, so let's see what we got. What we got.
Oh, there's 2 Marvel cabinets.
Coming soon from arcade. Uh-oh. X-Men versus Street Fighter. Okay. And
Lost interest.
Marvel vs. Capcom. Uh-oh.
No, wait, what? They said pinball machine.
No, it's
Because
the cabinet. Dude.
X-Men versus Street Fighter. And
Hold up.
Marvel vs. Capcom 1. That's it. Wait,
Ah.
that's still good.
But didn't they already release that?
No, they didn't. The one they released, I just told you what it was.
It was Marvel. You said X-Men: Children of the Atom. What was the other one?
Marvel superheroes.
Oh, superheroes. Okay. All right. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Not
It
bad.
was the one-on-one game with where they fall from the sky.
Okay. So okay.
The
So these
gems fall
aren't
from the
these
sky.
aren't so it's these are new. Okay. In their lineup is what I mean. These are new. Miss Pac-Man. Yes. You know how hard it is to find a Miss Pac-Man arcade cabinet? Holy
Oh,
smokes.
well, it looks like oh, it's on their website already.
How much is it for Miss Pac-Man?
Notify me. That's what it says. They have Big Bucks Hunter with the guns. Oh
You
wow.
know, that's cool just because it's what it is, but I would never play that. Totally never play that.
They got an NBA Jam cabinet. I know you can't tell me you wouldn't play that.
Oh, NBA Jam? Yes, not this bug game. No.
That's cool. I know you've seen it.
I've seen it.
That is a throwback.
I walked by it totally, like multiple times. Oh, what's this? Is there one more?
Oh my god, you're a little bit ahead of me, and it's killing me. It's probably the pinball machine. The
Okay,
Marvel
yeah, it's the
pinball machine.
pinball. I now the pinball I would get too. So the three of them that they showed.
I won't get that. It's as loud as that thing is. Every pinball machine has blown out my eardrums.
Well, this one's smaller though. It's a smaller version. Yeah, I would totally get that. Um, that looks really cool. So the first one I would get the Marvel versus X-Men and or X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel, whatever it was. I can't remember. There's too many of those games.
Okay, Arcade One Up. Listen to me. If I don't get that email within a minute of it going on sale, we're gonna have problems.
Got some problems, fam. That's coming fall to 2020. Yo, that might be a dope Christmas present.
I won't give people the chance to get it for me for Christmas. I'm getting that the day of.
Oh my
That's
gosh. Yo.
What's up, everybody? I'm Damon Hatfield here with my good friend Sam Claiborne from GameScoop.
Hey,
and we are joined by Scott Bacharach, founder of Tastemakers, parent company of Arcade One Up. Scott,
Arcade
so
One Up is
today.
pretty awesome because I can't afford a big arcade machine. I don't have
So
a place to
believe,
put it. But the
Arcade
smaller
One Up,
ones,
you guys make arcade
yeah,
machines,
I could
for
totally
people
get one
to
of
have in their
those.
homes. Lots of really cool stuff, and I think
There's a
you
little
are.
one right back there. I can see it.
There it is. There's the NBA Jam back there.
Ah, he has NBA Jam.
So I think you guys are announcing some
Yes, he does.
new arcade cabinets very soon. Is that right? Or actually, right now?
We are. We are very privileged and happy to announce several new arcade games. One of the first that we're going to be announcing is Miss Pac-Man.
Yes, Miss Pac-Man.
One of the absolute
I
greatest video
think
games ever.
these usually cost about $450.
They were on sale for like two something.
That's because there's like this is this is a difficult game to put out.
So the NBA Jam one.
Oh, they have a.
We're so lucky. We
Wait, they have different sizes. I didn't realize that.
With Bandai.
They do.
And this has kind of been on our radar.
Yeah, they're showing two different
for the
sizes.
last couple of years. It's been in discussions, and we're really proud.
And it has Galaga.
It's one of my personal favorites, and I'll tell you something. It's a hard game to play, boy. It really is. We like to say,
Bro, Miss Pac-Man is such a hard game to find. Like it costs a lot anywhere you go. It's really difficult to find.
That's what I was gonna ask.
So I'm super amped for that. I'm a like Pac-Man fan.
So we will
Like
have some settings that will.
I have the Pac-Man animated show. That's
Things that we're not
yeah.
going to talk about right now, but that will be in kind of the hidden gems of the game as it comes out. Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful thing. We've got several different styles.
Look at the people that I follow on Twitter. The retweets already started.
Have our standard riser. What's exciting for us is this is the very first time that this is being offered as a home arcade machine outside when it was first originally released. Several years ago, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah, I have a original stand up and a cocktail, and the stand up is really big and it's really pink and really blue, and it's the best
Yeah, I
looking
gotta do
arcade
that.
machine for our room.
The NBA
It's
Jam
really
one is
cool looking on
$500.
its own.
And you know what?
Yeah,
I have
just having it in the corner of your room is
a
so eye
Best
catching.
Buy
It looks
credit
like from
card,
what I just saw, you guys just nailed that.
and I get 18-month financing.
Oh, thank you so much. And you know what? I
Why
totally agree
shouldn't
with
I
you.
buy
Like
it?
these features,
Because
when
you
they
don't
work
need it right
across when you
now.
play, they bring you
Yes, I
back to
do.
that moment in time and all that stuff. But they're like
I
they
have
are pieces
18
of
months
art.
to pay it
You
off.
know,
I
it's
could do
like
it.
you mentioned this one that's behind me here. I mean, I have more people
Oh,
come
they
in
got a
here and be
Final
like,
Fight
I don't
cabinet
know
too.
what that is, but it's just cool. Like, what is
Yeah,
that? You know,
that's I
and they
gotta
love
get that
the
as
machine.
well.
And yeah, so nice pieces of
Oh,
art
the
that are
Final
actually
Fight
from
cabinet is
someone that's
actually
good that work.
cheap.
It looks like there's a few other games
That's
in
cool.
the same
It
package
was like
too.
200 something, right?
There are
199. Yeah,
on Miss Pac-Man. There are 4 different games,
that
and that'll
is
be
that is
included with that is Miss
awesome.
Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Rally X. Losing the fourth one right now.
But other classic arcade games you can play with a joystick basically, because that's what this
Yeah.
Pac-Man had. Joystick.
Yeah, correct. And what's very unique about Arcade One Up, amongst other things, is that our machines are
And
very
Galaga.
true to the original. So we don't use a
Galaga.
generic control panel. You know, we use a very specific control panel that
Oh, that's
works
not
for those
Galaga.
games
That's
that were identified to go with
Isn't
the
it Galaga?
Galaxian.
and
Oh,
it's not
That's
a
Galaxian?
one
Galaxian.
size fits all
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Ah,
To
that
give
would have
you
been
a
a
true arcade
twofer.
experience.
Oh well.
Are you announcing a release date for Miss Pac-Man today?
Yeah, so Miss Pac-Man,
What?
they have an
Release date?
official
Come on, come
announcement right
on.
now. It will be out for fall of this year in stores by October, November timeframe.
By
And we will
October.
start, us and retailers will start some pre-orders, and those announcements will be made over the coming months. Best thing to do on that is if you guys are anybody interested, go check out www.arcadeoneup.com.
See, this is
And
garbage, right?
at that
Because we have
site,
the
you can
new
find all
systems
the
coming out. I
information
still want an
about
Oculus
when we're
Quest.
releasing. There's a lot of notify
Ah,
me buttons.
I hate everything that costs
Some really
money.
exciting stuff.
You know, Miss Pac-Man was
I'm joking. I'm
No, I'm
joking.
not.
time. It's really cool that
That ain't fun.
we'll have to track those numbers, Daniel. We'll keep on seeing if it stays on top.
I know, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Were you
Add some
good?
numbers to that.
Were either one of you guys good playing at Miss Pac-Man?
Yeah, I
I'm
like
okay.
Miss Pac-Man.
Sam's probably really good.
Yes,
Yeah,
plenty
we
of
had a work
quarters.
competition. I brought in a machine a while ago, and everybody played it for a couple weeks. And our friend Jared Petty won that.
Are you saying a
competition. He
release
netted about
for Marvel?
240,000.
Oh yeah, you know that's
It's pretty
coming.
good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
You
good.
know that's coming.
I can't. If
That's
I
pretty
break
good.
200, it's a really good day. But I have a little book called How to Beat Miss Pac-Man from 1982, which really helps.
You really you got one of the cheat books? I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the patterns don't work in Miss Pac though. You know.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no. Hey, Sam, I think it might be the player. My patterns are working in Miss Pac-Man.
Good. Good to hear.
we do need to move on. So
That's
you cover
awesome.
the other games that you're announcing. You have a new fighting game. You guys have X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Yeah, I mean, this is just come on, this is amazing.
They
right?
have a
You take
40th
two
anniversary
of
Pac-Man.
the greatest of all
Not
time,
like not
behemoths
Mrs.
in the
Pac-Man, just
industry
Pac-Man.
between
It's
Marvel
$500
and
though.
Capcom, putting them together to release X-Men versus Street Fighter, and this is just an awesome, awesome machine. And actually, in
Let's
this
see.
one, as well as
Marvel
you see right there,
superheroes,
like
X-Men
the different
Children of the
representations
Atom.
of what it'll look like.
Wait.
You know, kind of
No.
matching graphics that go below it. That whole comic book series appeal.
What games is
And
it? They're
by the
moving too
cartoons that
fast.
will come with it. And actually, there'll be some really exciting stuff that we can't talk about
It's
right now.
Marvel's
But will
Capcom,
be in that
I'll
X-Men
tell you
versus
right
Street
now. Hold up.
Fighter. Okay.
that are going to blow a lot of people away. A little
X-Men Children of the Atom, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and
Nice.
Marvel vs. Capcom. Mutant Apocalypse. Is that the 4-player one?
I believe so.
No. No, because it's only 2 sticks. I don't think they would put the 4-player one on there.
I think of all time.
Or is that another fighting game? I can't remember.
It's not a fighting game.
They do a good job of showing you, what
Oh wait, is that the one where they put two? You had to put two
You know, it's funny. I was actually on the
things
phone the other
together
night,
like it was two
with our
screens.
office in Hong Kong. We got certainly several machines throughout the
I'm
office.
trying to
I don't
think.
think
We're doing
so.
a Zoom call like this.
Yeah,
and
like
far back, I keep seeing this one
shoot.
machine like lighting up.
I need
And
to
I knew
Google
it
it.
was something having to do with Marvel. I couldn't see
I already
what it was.
am.
And they
Oh
flipped it
well,
around
yeah.
kind of on its side, showing what it was.
Do it.
And literally, I mean, you could just see the graphics kind of popping through the Zoom. It was pretty wild looking. It's an amazing part. It's a beautiful piece of art, really.
That's dope,
Oh,
man.
it was on the Super Nintendo.
Right? It's just a board set and a conversion.
It's a beat 'em up, right?
Decide like what it's.
Yes, it definitely is a beat 'em
like
up.
Miss Pac-Man we just talked about. It's a work of art.
Okay, I remember that game. But wasn't one of those X-Men's was on the previous arcade machine, right?
We have some really great
Yeah,
gamers
I know which one you're talking about. I just know it's not this one.
Or a true hardcore.
Okay.
That's the one with like
Right?
Storm,
Really, and I can't
Colossus,
speak
and
to Capcom side of it because to be
Cyclops.
truthful
All
about it,
those guys.
that wasn't really my jam on my game. I'm 51 years old. I'm like Pac-Man,
Because I was
Pac-Man,
like,
Galaga.
I can't,
But I can tell you that
shift to
there's
it just
other
yet. But
people, talking amongst themselves
that
why
was my
Werewolf
only thing
is
where I was
really
like,
good.
man, like
And I know there's a lot of conversions
if
as
you already
well
bought that
from the
one
licensor.
arcade machine, then you're like,
And
dang,
again,
I'm
it was
getting the same game.
Marvel
But
on track
the other
with
ones are
Capcom slash
really
Kickstarter
cool.
team working with them, and it was really a collaborative
Just
effort.
because it has Marvel vs. Capcom,
Okay, so the
Marvel
third
vs.
game that you're
Capcom, and
sort of,
X Men
showing off for us today
versus
is
Street
going to be
Fighter.
Big Buck Hunter Light Gun.
That's
Boom,
all that needs
right?
to be there.
First shooting game that we're introducing right now.
The other
Big
two
Buck
games are
Hunter
cool,
Pro Series, just
but
awesome, right? If you were in a
yeah,
bar anytime in your life,
F them
and it was
games.
the
Oh, yeah.
game, right?
Yeah, I think they're
And
gonna do Marvel's Capcom 2. It's
yeah,
gonna be a big
this
deal.
opens up kind of the genre of
I
shooter for us.
guarantee they will
And again,
gouge that
kind of
price.
to
Oh,
speak
you
to
want
what
it?
I'm talking about
15.
before, this is not one of those things where you just plug in a gun to an existing cabinet that's got some controllers. It's
They should just have a cabinet with
PCFGA.
all of
It's
those
got guns in there the right way.
fighters.
Everything ties in perfectly the way
You can
you
have
remember
this for the
playing
low
games
price of
from certain years going
$49.99.99.
over. And it's
I
beautiful.
mean,
They're
hey,
frozen also. They also are. They're like looking at classic cars or motorcycles or anything else. I mean,
and
they're really cool.
that pinball machine looked
Exactly.
great.
Oh my
I know
God,
you're
that
saying this
deer.
Pac-Man's going to be ready for this
That poor
fall.
deer.
What about X-Men versus
Looked like
Predator?
someone
He got
tripped him up.
shot in the neck.
Same time
He
period?
got shot in the neck and just like,
Yeah,
ugh.
actually, all of these, again, through our
Oh
partnership
my
with these
gosh.
terrific partners. Big Buck is playing
All
mechanics.
right, so I think we
Things
can
like
wind it down
isometry
now.
and mantle.
We got
Very well done. Worked
our
really
chance
hard
to
with us to collaborate
geek
with
out a
them
little bit.
to get that product out.
I'm actually going
We're
to. I
poised
don't
for
know if this
success. We've been
affects.
asked by a lot of
If I
consumers
lower this, does this
to make sure
affect
this can be done.
the? Probably
But
not.
I can't say enough how
Well, at least
After
I
you
can.
do it, you'll find out.
excited we are that our
Well,
partners
I can still hear myself,
make that happen.
but
Without them, we wouldn't be able to.
I don't know if you can still on
It's
the
all
video still
scientific
hear
intelligence.
whatever. Anyways, you can hear me. So yeah, thanks for actually. You know what? It's actually easier if I just do that. Boom. um. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us while we looked at IGN Summer of Games Day 1. I'm not sure if we're gonna do Day 2 and 3 and all the other coverage that they're doing, just because we don't have as much time in terms or it might be something where if they have a because I know that they record this stuff too, so you can for people who missed it can kind of watch. Maybe we'll redo it that way, and we'll watch because right now we did it live. Maybe we'll watch a recording later and kind of record it. We might do something like that and get some other people on the cast or on the video to kind of like talk about it as well. So I'm not sure. I do want to talk about Sony tomorrow though. So even if we don't cover the rest of the stuff, I definitely want to do that and talk about what Sony's going to bring to the table. Hopefully we get to see the console, a release date, and price. Um, that would be great. And some good looking games that aren't, you know, what you expect. Um, but aside from that, the show was pretty good. Was pretty cool for the first day. The first days are usually light, and so because usually we have the press conferences, then we have each day afterwards, and it ramps up as you kind of go in terms of the news that's coming out and stuff like that. And so it's kind of what I expected. We got to see some cool games in there. The Werewolf game, Werewolf Apocalypse, was cool. We didn't get to see gameplay, but it looked cool. Looked all right. And at least I'm expecting it to be cool when they finally show gameplay. I that's we don't really know much about it. Chivalry 2 looked cool. Beyond Blue looked interesting, being like it might be a you know like you said educational or I said educational game. Um, they didn't really show too much gameplay in that as well, but from what we saw, it looked it was okay. I forgot the name of the dinosaur game. Um, crap. What was that? Uh, well, anyways,
Second Extinction.
there you go. That seemed cool. It reminded me of Deep Rock and Left 4 Dead and stuff like that, where you go into a place, get what you need to get, and then get out before you die. Um, same thing like Helldivers, but from a first person perspective. Uh, I thought that looked neat. I mean, I like dinosaurs. I'm a big dinosaur fan. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more Toraki-ish, but I'm not upset with what I saw. I would like to see more before I kind of
Yeah,
give
it's
like a
something I would definitely give a chance, and you gotta fill out that you have to fill out that that recruitment that I sent you, so that way
yes,
I can get beta access. Then you send
yes,
it to somebody else, and they get beta access. Yeah.
definitely doing that. Wasteland 3, that's easy. That was an easy slam dunk. I like Wasteland as a series. If you like Fallout, you'll like Wasteland. And I like the fact that it's not doing the third person or first person perspective. It's going back to the traditional style, just like the remastered Wasteland and Wasteland 2 that's currently on. I believe it's still on the Game Pass. Void Train looked crazy, and that I don't know how much of that was, it just looked crazy, and I want to know more about it. It's so crazy in a good way. We also saw a little bit of, we saw some footage from uh, GTFO. They're updating it with more content. I can't really speak too much on it. The early impressions was there was something solid here, but they needed to work on some stuff, and it seems like they are. So kudos for that. Um, the new looking Observer, or the newer version of Observer was cool. Mortal Shell, I'm gonna let Jamie handle that. I don't really. Yeah, it's like Dead Souls, but extra Dead Soul-y. Like it's just
Dark Souls.
or Dark Souls. Yeah, not Dead Souls. They don't. Dead Souls was one and done, kind of. um, what else did we see? We saw there was a bunch of stuff. Um, those are a lot of the highlights, though. Oh, Yakuza, Like a Dragon. Couldn't forget that. Definitely want to play that. Sega, holla at me. Um, Yakuza fan over here. I know Andre is going bananas because although I enjoyed the beat 'em up aspects of Yakuza, he did not. So the fact that this one doesn't have that, he's probably gonna flip uh, because they still have the cool story. Yakuza's been really great story wise. And then Borderlands got new DLC. Um, oh, Waylanders. Oh, yeah, so a lot. They showed a lot, and for the most part, I'm pleased. What about you?
Um.
I know I said most of it, but
Yeah, I don't really have much. I really want to try that. Why do I not remember the name of that game?
uh,
The rhythm shooter, the Doomish one.
oh right, let me look that up. Let me see.
I'm just mad I can't remember the name of the game.
Wasn't it Hell something?
Sounds about right.
Previews. Wait, was it? No, not Riftbreaker. No, that's not it. It's
No, Riftbreaker was the one that you said looked cool with the mech or whatever.
oh yeah, the mech
Tower
and the
defense.
tower defense. Wow, I cannot find the name of that game. Well, that game, the rhythm Doom like shooter, uh, it looked fun. And Doom, it was, Doom was fun.
It's just different, and that's what really drew me in.
I kind of want to know whether or not being what happens when you're off rhythm. Like I know like and they might have said that, so if they did, my bad. But like I know like it seems like if you're on rhythm, like you do more damage. And I want to know if that's the only negative that you do less damage or does something happen? Like, think of like active reload in Gears of War. Like does something happen to your gun? Does Are you not able to do whatever? Because I know with the Necrodancer, if you're off rhythm or you're not landing your attacks on the beat, you can be hurt or you can miss your window to attack. And so I wonder if that's the case. Like maybe you don't do any damage when you're off beat because the guy was really good. Like the guy, he was saying whoever was playing it was really good, guy or gal, whoever. Um, and so we didn't get to see if you're off beat, like what happens. So I kind of want to look into that and also if there's a story or other elements that were kind of flesh the game out a little bit more. Um, what else did they talk about? Um,
Void Train does look cool too. They only showed it for a short time, but definitely something I want to look at.
was that multiplayer? It seemed like it was multiplayer.
Yeah, it did look like it. It'd be weird if it wasn't, just because of the way it looked like it played.
Yeah, and then the graphic at the end had multiple people. Um, it like looked like they were defending the train from the graphic. Um, so yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I personally am mostly interested in Yakuza Like a Dragon, uh,
Yeah, that was awesome.
the werewolf game because like who doesn't want to play as a werewolf? Uh, Wasteland 3 and maybe Pathfinder? Maybe? I don't know. What about you? I know you wanted to play the Doom like game, Yakuza. You were interested in Mortal Shell, right? The Dead Souls like game.
I'll definitely try it. Any beta, I'll try. If it comes out with a beta, I'll play it.
Right.
Besides those two, yeah, and Void Train.
Void Train. Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed hearing what we thought about it. Kudos to IGN again for doing this, setting us up. This was a long, they worked really hard to set this up after E3 was canceled to get everybody, to get the footage out, to get the demos and all that other stuff out. They also worked really hard recently with the charitable stuff. Um, in terms of Black Lives Matter, Corona, like all that stuff that they've been doing has been great. So two thumbs up to IGN. Uh, you know, salute you guys, and we'll try to swing back around and see what else we could cover over at UnitedFriendGaming.com, aka UFG, and talk about Sony tomorrow and some of the bigger reveals. We might, like I said, we might do another video. I don't know, but we definitely wanted to share our thoughts on what was being shown, at least day one. So yeah, thanks for being, checking it out with us. Feel free to hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can listen to and see all of our content. And we will catch you next time.
See ya.